The two captains have done the coin toss, and we are going to switch sides, which means that one of the teams, whoever won the toss, has chosen which way they want to play for a particular reason.
I think it was Greg Ollie. He decided to turn round,
Yeah, so they're going to play towards their own fans in the first half. So Gateshead will be playing from left to right as we look at it. They're in their away strip of light blue tops with maroon shorts and socks. Barnet, despite being nicknamed the Bees, are orange. They are almost all in orange. There's some
orange
black
bees.
They are orange bees. They are. They've got black stripes, kind of the lower half of their shirts, black stripes as well, and then black shorts and socks. Our referee this afternoon is Richie Watkins, who was also the referee when Gateshead won 3-0 against Maidenhead back in September. He does give out plenty of cards, so we will see whether he has any reason to do so this afternoon. I think both sets of players are just about ready. There's a couple of objects to be cleared off the pitch on the far side. That's what we are waiting for, and we are pretty much all set to go under the floodlights, the brand new floodlights that are making their debut at the Hive this afternoon. The referee just wants thumbs up from both goalkeepers before he gets this National League game underway. It is 2nd against 7th, and Barnet will kick off live here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Colin White and Paul Dixon taking you through live commentary. Thank you very much for joining us wherever you are around the world, and we are hoping that you will be entertained this afternoon. Louis Story immediately called into action on the left hand side of that back three and hooks it out for a Barnet throw-in away on the far side. Dom Revan thought about Danny Collins thought about taking it. He's given it to Revan instead, so they go down towards the corner flag where it's controlled by Harry Pritchard, but he's dispossessed by Callum Whelan, who thumps it clear, and he really does thump it clear, because that clearance that came from 2 or 3 yards from his own goal line, it bounced on the halfway line and went all the way through to Laurie Walker in goal in light green away to our right hand side. But Barnet have got it back again and immediately go long down the left hand side. There's a shove from Nicky Kabamba, but the referee says play on. The ball is back inside the centre circle. Ollie puts Danny Collins under a bit of pressure inside, as I say, the centre circle, and the clearance goes straight out for a throw-in. Both sides have to settle, but we look at this match through Gateshead lenses. Gateshead have to settle and get the ball down and play it their way as quickly as they possibly can, Paul.
Well, you're correct there, but they've got to work hard as well.
Yes. To
get to put Barnet under pressure, because they're a good side.
Whelan tries to pick it up in midfield, but he can't, so Barnet go forward up towards Kabamba. It's a good sliding challenge though from Louis Story, who does well. It's picked up by Regan Booty, spreads it to that left hand side. Billy Chadwick looked a yard or two offside, and he is, and he's right in line with you, Paul Dixon.
He was definitely, but he didn't need to be though. I mean, because he's quick, Billy, he can get through. But the linesman in front of me was correct with his flag.
Indeed, yeah, we were a little, well, I certainly was a little bit critical of Tom Allen when he came on last weekend for getting caught offside 2 or 3 times in a row, and it didn't matter hugely at that point because Gateshead were 5-0 up when he came on, but
they should look along the line.
Yes, but maybe the more positive point is there is space to be exploited in behind this Barnet defence. Billy Chadwick has got it on the halfway line, but it's a loose pass square, so Idris Kanu picks it up inside the centre circle. He's got a bit of space to drive forward, tries to knock it left to Nicky Kabamba, but it was behind him. He didn't know where it was going, and that's a waste of an opportunity actually from Barnet, because that's a little bit of inexperience from Billy Chadwick. He just played the ball rather loosely across the middle of midfield. Gateshead playing about inside their own half. Story gives it away, tries to get on the end of the cross, he can't. Kanu hooks it over the crossbar, and Gateshead get away with one. Actually, they get away with 2, because that's twice they gave the ball away.
Well, I tried, but I mean, Archie, he should have done better there. I mean, he's given it to Louis on the edge of the box, and there was 2 players on top of him, and that could have been 1 down easy there.
Yeah, and already both Stephen Wern and Kyron Lofthouse, who admittedly Lofthouse is playing on this right hand side anyway, in conversation with both Carl Magny and Rob Elliott just to make some little tweaks early on. The back heel from Hannant doesn't really come off, but he's battled well on that far side to win it back again. Goes long down the left hand side for Billy Chadwick to chase up against Danny Collins, and the defender can comfortably shepherd that one out of play, but it is for a throw-in rather than a corner, so Gates have got an opportunity to move up into Barnet's half really for the first time. We've moved into the 4th minute of this game, Paul.
Billy's more or less like the Lone Ranger up there at the minute, isn't he? I mean, Stephen Warren, Greg Ollie sitting behind him, but they're sitting a long way behind him. When the ball goes up to Billy, they need to get moving and get up alongside him. They
got themselves out of danger from the throw-in, Barnet, and Louis Story's hooked ball forward for Gateshead again was two firmly struck over the head of Chadwick, and Barnet will build now from this left-hand side, starting with Ben Coker. Goes down long to find Kabamba, but Story gets his head on it. Thumps it forward through the middle. There was a slip from Stephen Warren, which meant he couldn't challenge for the ball, but Greg Ollie picks it up, and now Lofthouse on this right-hand side, just over the halfway line, goes back though into Regan Booty, and this is actually the first time that Gateshead have done what I said they needed to do, which is just knock the ball about with a bit of comfort. It's Whelan away on that far side, and then they'll cut back inside. Mamadou Jobe gets his first touch of the afternoon, square to Kenton Richardson, and then out to Story on this right-hand side. It's a flexible back three at times, and it goes back out to Jobe, who knocks it back to Archie Mayer. And I know I'm just describing pass after pass, but that's the point.
Well, that's it, but that's good for them because they're keeping possession. There hasn't been much possession, but they've enjoyed that spell there.
No, and the long ball from Archie Mayer out to Lofthouse on this right hand side didn't really work. Kenton Richardson has to judge the bounce well, but he does. And now there's a chance to try and build through the middle of midfield for Gateshead as we hit the 5-minute mark. Louis Story up towards the halfway line, across to Luke Hannity. Might just get in behind Dom Revan, he doesn't quite though, and there's a chance for Laurie Walker to come out of his own box and clear it up towards Kabamba, who battles well, but Jobe gives as good as he gets in that physical battle, and they've won it. Kenton Richardson's come across to help him as well, so in that left back area, bit loose, so it's a throw into Barnet on that far side.
No, it's Gateshead.
It's Gateshead's throw. It must have taken a nick.
Yeah.
Everybody moved into position as if it were a Gateshead throw.
They did.
And I thought it was from here as well, but the assistant referee obviously far closer on that far side. And Mamadou Jobe, who, if you're just joining us, joined Gateshead on loan from Cambridge United. I think he arrived on Tuesday. They didn't really announce it until Thursday, but he's been training with them this week, in for the injured Joe Grayson. He's only here until January initially, as Barnet go long over the top with a flick header towards Revan, who up from right wing back on that far side is a little bit loose. It's out for a throw-in, but certainly in terms of territory, Paul, we've spent most of the first 6 minutes looking to our left-hand side, which is Gateshead's
Well, we
half.
have, yeah, and just looking at the pitch, we're really low level with the pitch here, but everybody's in Gateshead's half.
Yes.
So, I mean, is it a tight pitch, or is it not as big as we really think it is?
Yeah, I mean, it's tight, and it's a tight stadium in terms of, as we keep mentioning, us and the supporters being really close to the pitch. But in terms of dimensions, not sure. But this is a chance for Whelan. He's got Hannant on the overlap down the left-hand side, level with the edge of the box. A bit of space towards the byline. Clips the ball over the head of Laurie Walker. Has to tip it up in the air. Lofthouse back across. Wern can't get his head on it, and they will clear it. But it's a poor clearance from Barnet up in the air on the edge of the box. Headed out only as far as Booty. Now it's hooked over the top, but Lofthouse is not going to get there, and Barnet will clear it through the middle. But Jobe gets in the way. His clearance is a little bit sliced. It's out for a throw-in on the far side. That's Gateshead's first chance.
Yeah, and it was good player, really good player, and with a bit more luck there, he could have gotten onto it and maybe hit the target. But yeah, it was good player from Gateshead.
It was indeed. 7 minutes gone here at the Hive, goalless in the National League. And Barnet try and work it over the halfway line, but they give it away, so Billy Chadwick can pick it up, but he knocks it back to Kenton Richardson just inside his own half, and they'll take their time. But Whelan comes short, tries to get round the corner for Ollie, but it's dispossessed, or he's dispossessed. And Idris Kanu bursting down the left wing, testing Kenton Richardson for pace, cuts inside him as well. I think it must have taken a nick off the Gateshead defender. It does, and it is the first corner of the afternoon, and it will be a Barnet one, and all three of their very tall centre halves are going to come up for this.
Need to defend this, right? Goalkeeper could do but come and collecting this.
Yeah, it's going to be taken by Anthony Hartigan, this corner from the left hand side. They're just, Barnet still kind of sorting themselves out a bit, mainly because Gateshead are leaving Chadwick and Wern up for this. But there's a gaggle of players on the edge of the penalty area and 6 inside the 6-yard box as well. But this will be a right-footed in-swinger from Anthony Hartigan. It's deep towards the far post. There's a battle, but Louis Story wins it, heads it up in the air. Whelan gets the second header on it. The volley comes in, but it's completely mishit by Barnet. Ollie hooks it clear. Chadwick kept it offside line well and puts the defender under a little bit of pressure, but it's well kept in play by Hartigan on this near side. And Barnet try and build down the left again. Kanu under pressure from Mamadou Jobe gets in behind the defender, who brings him down, and that's going to be a free kick that's as good as a corner because it's only 2 or 3 yards from that corner flag, and Jobe was beaten.
He's a handful. He is. He picks up very quickly, doesn't he?
Hartlepool have taken the lead at York City this afternoon. That's an FA Trophy game as well. We've got Blythe Spartans and South Shields in action. If we get any goal updates in the first half, we will let you know. Otherwise, Dominic James will be bringing you the half-time score from both of those, and we will Because it's a Saturday afternoon, just because we haven't got Newcastle and Sunderland doesn't mean we're not on until 6 o'clock. So we'll do our normal non-league roundup at around about 5:40 tonight as well.
They need to defend this, Colin. This is dangerous.
Yeah, so Hartington's going to take this one again. Like I say, it's basically a short corner. Ollie is the one-man wall. It's towards the far post again. It's over everybody's head, but it's headed back. And there's a bit of a scuffle in the edge of the box. Kanu tries to get a shot away. He can't. There's a couple of big deflections. I think that's going to be another corner. It is.
Corner.
And Gateshead didn't clear it, but did defend it.
They defended very well. They did. Because it was danger at the edge of the box.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 in a row for Anthony Hartigan to take right-footed as an in-swinger from the left-hand side into the 10th minute of this game, still goalless, as Rob Elliott and Carl Magny try and peer round the assistant referee. They've taken it short this time, so Kanu goes along the byline, cuts inside, his right-footed cross is struck towards the back post and it's headed down, but it's tame. They think it took a deflection, but neither the referee nor the assistant referee saw the deflection, and Gateshead escaped with just a goal kick.
They can't have 4 corners, can they? You know what I mean? But there was 3 off the bell. Gateshead had done well there to defend them.
They did indeed, as the London Underground passes behind the stand opposite us. Obviously that's one of the overground sections, but you know what I mean.
I'm not counting them trains, Colin.
No. Hopefully the football's far too interesting for us to be worrying about
is at the minute,
how many trains are going past.
Yeah.
Story goes long up towards Stephen Worm, but he doesn't even challenge Ben Coker for that header. They keep it in play, Barnet, on this near side. It comes off Lofthouse, so they'll have a throw-in on the halfway line, right in front of Rob Elliott. But also in that technical area as well as Rob Elliott is Dean Brennan. The Barnet manager took over from Harry Kewell a couple of years ago, former Leeds and Liverpool winger and Australian international. Up towards Chadwick, flicks it around the corner, but Stephen Worm's never going to catch that one, and they haven't quite worked out how to get Billy Chadwick into the game yet.
Not yet. No. But when they get him in, things will happen.
So Barnet take the goal kick short, go out to Collins on that right hand side. He's under a bit of pressure though from Chadwick, so it goes long from Aluwo down the right hand side. Booty gets in the way of it but can't control it. Still midway inside their own half though, Barnet, and it's a good header forward actually from Job, so Wern can lay it off to Callum Whelan, controls it on his thigh up towards Greg Ollie. He tried to get round Hartigan but he couldn't quite, and now Barnet will try and burst through the middle, through the centre circle, and then out to Coker on this left hand side. Tries to go further down the left wing, he does. Kanu's made that run in behind, so Lofthouse is out of position. He's up against Richardson, cutting in towards the penalty area. He's forced back out again though. The cross from Coker is badly hit. It loops up towards the far post and over the goal line on the far side.
A great approach play, but that was a woeful cross. I mean,
yeah.
You know, there's 3 or 4 strikers waiting for it to come in the box, and he's just cleared it beyond the stand there.
I think Idris Kanu, who is the Barnet number 11 with the dreadlocks, is probably their most dangerous looking player in the opening, what have we played, 12 minutes here, because he's a very willing runner, but once he controls it, he knows what to do with it, and he's got a bit of trickery about him too.
And he's extremely quick, as you said, you know. But they've got to deal with it, haven't they?
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
And funnily enough, he's not the one that I said was a sprinter.
No.
That's Nicky Kabamba, who hasn't had a huge amount of action so far. It's a high press from Barnet. Gateshead play round it, but the ball long from Richardson comes off the head of Ben Coker, and it'll be a Gateshead throw-in.
I just wonder if Rob Elliott's happy with him sitting in Billy Chadwick's up here on his own, you know, to defend, because they're not attacking as much as I'm sure Rob would like to see.
No, and the press actually in the last couple of moves has been quite good from Barnet, and they've forced Gateshead to go long. The first one was down the right wing, that second one has just gone right over the head of Billy Chadwick and through to Laurie Walker in goal for Barnet on our right hand side. They're not afraid to play short and play football inside their own penalty area, inside their own 6-yard box. Gateshead. There's just a push in the back of Finlay Potter from Greg Ollie that the referee decides was forceful enough to be a free kick. Ollie's not happy and he's still having a conversation with the referee, but I'm not convinced he's going to change the referee's mind.
No, the ref wants the ball to come further back. They're away.
Yeah, so Finlay Potter takes it just inside the Barnet half. They go down the left wing and Kanu tries to spin. He let it go through his legs, spun round behind, but there was not enough distance between him and the touchline to get in behind, so it's a Gateshead throw.
They're defending well enough at the minute, aren't they? They are.
Yes, they are. And Kenton Richardson will have this throw in midway inside the Gateshead half. Wern comes short for it. The layoff's a little bit loose though, but Richardson's found space to give it back to Archie Mayer, who quite sensibly this time goes long up towards Chadwick, who I don't think is going to win many of those headed battles, but he might win some foot races, although Aluwo was comfortably ahead of him on that occasion.
I know we haven't played long, but Stephen Warren and Greg Ollie have got to get in the game. The game, they're just passing the ball over the top to Billy, and Billy's running for the ball, and they're just watching Billy perform.
You're right that we haven't played long, 14 minutes almost. Now Callum Whelan's got a bit of space inside the centre circle, through the middle. Warren lays it off to Ollie. Looked like he might have been being filled in the process, but that referee says nothing, and Barnet defend it pretty well 30 yards from their own goal. And now on that right hand side, Collins goes long, but it's wildly overhit. And you get the feeling that both of these football teams are very good football teams, but they haven't found their own rhythm yet, either of them.
I mean, they look both teams look a little bit nervous, I would think. They need to settle down. I mean, Greg's, we've played 15 minutes. He's probably had one touch. He's usually dictating the game by now, isn't he, Yeah, Luke Hannock's come short for this, and he's got the overlap from Whelan, so they're only over the halfway line, but there's lots of space. Ollie's made a brilliant bursting run through the middle as well. He's gone out to Chadwick on the left-hand side, though. Back to Whelan, back out to Chadwick again. But there's 3 on the edge of the box for Gateshead here. The overlap, though, from Luke Hannon. I don't think he's going to get there. He's pushed off it, but pushed off it legally by Collins, and that will be That was a poor
kick.
pass. He should have cared a bit more about it. They were down on the left-hand side, and he's just give the ball away.
And Barnet take their goal kick short and quickly, but then go long with the second touch. Booty's got time and space to control it on the halfway line. Short to Richardson, and then across that back 3 up to Mamadou Job, who's got a bit of confidence to get round one midfielder and carry it over the halfway line, and then go wide to Stephen Warren on that left-hand side. He's got 3 to aim for as well if he gets a cross in. Goes short, though, to Ollie down by the byline. Left-hand side is attempted cross is blocked, but Hannon gets to the second ball first. Wide on that left-hand side, down by the corner flag, but lays it off to Whelan. It's intercepted, but this is a bit better.
Good play, yeah. They're getting behind them there, and Greg's involved with the game, and he's making them play.
They keep possession, but go back from the throw-in into their own half, and Louis Story's got it on the halfway line, but he's under pressure from Kabamba, so they are forced back to Archie Mair, who admittedly is a good 30 yards from his own goal. Just drags it back a little bit. Under pressure from Kabamba, goes right to Richardson, who then has to go long, and that's where it breaks down.
Yeah, it does, and that's poor play. That's real. The goalie's given the ball, he's under pressure, and he just launches it long, and it goes to their keeper. Not good play that at all from Gateshead.
I know I'm going to put a little bit of blame on the goalkeeper that time, because he took a long time to decide what kind of pass he wanted to play.
Needs to be quicker.
And then he ran out of options, essentially. Yes. 16 and a half minutes gone at the Hive. Goalless between Barnet and Gateshead in the National League. Live here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Colin White and Paul Dixon with you through the afternoon. And Barnet carried over the halfway line. Probably had the better of the opening quarter of an hour. Left hand side, the ball from Coker finds Kanu, controls it well on the edge of the box, tries to clip it towards the far post. Story gets his head in the way, and I think this is going to be yet another corner. And there's applause from the Barnet fans on both sides of the pitch, because that was a good swift move. And I'll come back to you in a second, Paul, because they've taken the corner quickly. It's Idris Kanu who's come out to get it again. Picked it up from Hartigan. A couple of step overs on the left hand side of the box, but Ollie intercepts him. He gets the ball back again, Kanu. He's a busy player. He's maybe 35 yards from goal, but he's picked it up and he's gone square to Zach Brunt. Back to Hartigan again, who took the original corner. And Kanu comes and collects it again, 30 yards from goal. Has an effort that's had all the sting taken out of it by a deflection, and Archie Mair can claim it comfortably.
He's definitely the player. I mean, he's on the ball all the time,
Indeed, as Hartlepool go 2 up at York City. In FA Trophy terms, that's not far off being a derby as well. Hartlepool at York this afternoon. Still goalless here and in our 2 FA Trophy matches that we're keeping an eye on as well. South Shields at Southport and Blythe Spartans at Warrington. Gateshead on the halfway line with Booty, just pokes it to his left hand side. Whelan comes and collects it, and now there's a bit of space for Job to move into on that far side. He's got Hannant for company, playing as a left winger at the moment, but he's got an overlapping run from Job if he wants it. He dribbles down the outside himself towards the corner flag, under real pressure though from Collins. He actually does very well.
Good play, he's done really well there, Hannant. Yeah, just taking them on there in and around the 18-yard box.
Thought about taking the throw in quickly, but they've left it to Mamadou Job. Midway inside the Barnet half, but away over on the far left hand side. Looking for options, hasn't got all that many. The referee encourages him to play it a bit more quickly, and that means that, well, actually he took the throw in, it was headed clear. He then won the second header as well, and Greg Ollie will have to tidy up It's back to Richardson inside the centre circle, and it's going to go all the way back to Archie Mayer, but he's got Story for company this time, and actually Kabamba stopped short of really chasing the goalkeeper down. Out to Richardson, who currently is the right-hand side of the back three, but goes in short to Louis Story, and they are very comfortable on the ball, Gateshead, and Whelan's come short for it. Tries to find Stephen Warren. Well, it was meant for Warren, and I don't think he thought it was for him.
That was a good ball. I don't know where Warren was going there. I mean, that would have gotten him in, wouldn't it? And he's ran the wrong place.
He looked over the wrong shoulder.
He did. That's exactly what he did.
And he made a run across the pitch towards the middle. The ball was behind him, but he could have got it if he'd realised that's where it was going. After all that, it's a Barnet throw-in deep inside their own half. Ollie tries to put pressure on the throw-in taker, but he can't. And now through Hartigan, Barnet try and make their way out of their own half. 20 minutes gone, and I mean, now the goalkeepers had a save to make.
Not yet.
But Barnet have threatened more than Gateshead have been able to, and Gateshead haven't threatened yet, if we're honest.
But I think Rob Elliott is standing in front of us yet. I think he'll be more than happy. I think you do.
When I say they haven't threatened the goal.
They've been round the back.
They have. Throw-in on this near side is given away, but Billy Chadwick is under a bit of pressure. He's going to have to hold on to this right in front of us. He does well, though, turns back and finds Greg Ollie. Plays it square across the centre circle to Mamadou Jobe, making his Gateshead debut, and he's looked comfortable so far.
He's done all right.
One sliced clearance inside the centre circle, but apart from that, he's looked comfortable as he spreads it wide from the left centre back to the right centre back, and Story has to pick it up. Goes back to Archie Mayer. Whelan comes close. They're still playing football inside their own penalty area, Gateshead. Story wants somebody to come short. It's Lofthouse who gets it, tries to turn down the right wing, and he was fouled as he tried to turn, and the referee says free kick. That's good football.
Good football at the back, you're right. Louis Story, very confident, wanting the ball all the time, and they got out of it, didn't they, you know?
Yes. I mean, this is maybe unfair because it was successful. It's good football if it works.
Yeah, well,
but maybe
correct.
That applies to everything. I don't know. Ollie takes the throw in. It's short
I hope
to
it keeps
Richardson.
working.
And back to Story again. Absolutely. We've played 20 minutes here at the Hive. Still looking for our first goal of the afternoon. It's a crossfield pass that Hannant is doing battle with with Revan, sorry. But the knockdown header has come to the way of Stephen Warren. Out to Hannant on that far side, lays it off to Warren again. It's just behind him. Ollie with a chance to shoot though from 25 yards out. And he's only a yard wide of the right hand post. He side-footed it, tried to find the bottom corner, and he was not far away.
Brilliant piece of play. I mean, I was just waiting for the net to bulge. I mean, I think it must have just gone by about a foot. Brilliant play by Gateshead. That's the best there. Pity it didn't go in.
Yeah, that's the kind of move they've been trying to put together, and they have a couple of times, but that's the first time they've had a shot that has ended the move positively. And Greg Ollie, who scored one of those 6 last weekend, just a yard or so, but Chadwick's picked it up now. Edge of the penalty area, he's got Warren for company, but he goes in himself, tries to find the corner. It's a good save, and Barnet are going to clear it up from inside the 6-yard box. But Gateshead have had 2 good chances in the space of a couple of minutes. Barnet haven't cleared it outside the box yet, but there's a collision on the edge of the penalty area, and it will be a free kick.
Could have been 2-0.
Could have been
2-0. I mean, you know, Chadwick there, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Good save by the keeper. Full length.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been called into action because Ollie's shot 60 seconds before went wide of the post. But in the space of a couple of minutes.
That's really encouraging play, that.
Because, and it's a bit early to be talking about it maybe, but Gateshead would happily leave here with a draw.
Well, they would, but just looking at that there could be more chances to come. But there were 2 really good, great save by the keeper, and Greg Ollie's shot just going by about 6 inches.
Zach Brunt through the middle for Barnet, and there's a challenge from Luke Hannant that he says got the ball, and the assistant referee on the far side says got the ball as well. So the Barnet fans thought that he hadn't, but the assistant referee was closer. It's not a free kick, it's a throw-in that they've taken quite quickly. Revan on that far side for Barnet, midway inside the Gateshead half. Comes back and goes square to Brunt, gives it back out to Revan again, but it's pretty tight on that far side. Collins though knocks it over the top this time. Jobe gets his head on it but can't control it, and that's a sliding challenge from Luke Hannant, and that is a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. He slipped. He did not mean to challenge, but he did commit a foul, and it's very difficult to see from here, but it can't be more than a couple of yards outside the box.
I thought it was in the box,
Yep.
looking from here, and the linesman, no hesitation with the flag straight up there, but he did slip.
Yeah,
you're right.
He had no intention of making a challenge at all, but he slipped, took his man out, and just on the Well, but yeah, a yard or two outside the right-hand edge of the penalty area, but Barnet have a very dangerous free kick now, and they've loaded the penalty area because it's only Chadwick staying up. So Barnet, well, this will be taken left-footed this time from that far side. There's a two-man wall for Gateshead, but they've got 5, 6 in the penalty box for this Barnet. There might be an effort on goal as well. It's low and hard, but it's cleared by Story, and didn't really have much venom on it either. It certainly had no height on it, and Gateshead have cleared it out of their own half, and Dormrevan, to the disappointment of some Barnet fans behind us, has knocked it all the way back to Laurie Walker in goal, who goes right down the middle, route one up towards Kabamba, who hasn't really played a big part in certainly the last 10-15 minutes of this game. Controlled in the chest by Booty, and now Ollie, with a bit of confidence, strokes it out to Story and then to Lofthouse on this right hand side. He's got a bit of space to run over the halfway line, cuts outside, then inside again, and this is a brilliant run. He's all the way up to the edge of the penalty area. Kyron Lofthouse will have a go off the crossbar, and it breaks to Hannant. The move isn't over, and that one's over the bar. What a move!
That was absolutely sensational. That's as good a bit of non-league football I've seen for many, many years. Absolutely brilliant. Karen Lofthauser beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, shot, hit the crossbar. Unbelievable. And
it was all right foot until he hit the shot with his left foot, which was really, really well struck, and with everything that hits the bar.
Could have been 3-0.
It absolutely could have been.
Could have been 3-0.
The upshot of all of this, by the way, is a Gateshead corner on the far side that Regan Booty takes towards the far post. It's over the top of everybody. Lofthouse was being held, so there's a bit of work for for Francis to do to keep it in. Whelan, third time lucky. Callum Whelan does get it though, keeps it in. Lofthouse down by the right-hand corner flag under real pressure. He's having his shirt tugged as well, but he lays it off to Whelan again, who is now under pressure from Kanu, who gives him a shove, gets it inside to Ollie. It's deflected out to Booty, back to Ollie again, still on the edge of the penalty area this, and Barnet try and clear it, and there is a foul in the process that I think Luke Hannant knew. He didn't know what he was doing with the slip down the other end. He knew what he was doing with that foul, and Barnet will clear their lines. But Gateshead have had a brilliant 5 minutes.
Oh, unbelievable. I would love to see that Lofthouse run again, and he shot that hit the bar. It was sensational.
They've gone route one again, Barnet, but Story's going to get there ahead of Kabamba. Richardson controls it well under pressure. Out towards Lofthouse. His first touch isn't good enough though, and they win it back to Barnet on the halfway line on this left hand side, but they go loose. The ball back was loose, which meant the ball forward from Potter wasn't the greatest. Not going to run out of play though, so Story is forced to knock it back, and there's a foul inside the penalty area but on a Gateshead player, and that will be their opportunity to clear their lines. When they get the ball in and around their box, they're really exciting Gateshead, aren't they, you know? I mean, Lofthouse created a goal. One of those 6 came from that kind of run. Yeah. But he's picked that up inside his own half, right? And he's ended up 12 yards out and hit the crossbar, and he beat 4 defenders. Yeah. Incredible piece of play. The only thing is, Barnet now know what he can do, so they might double up on him. Well, they will, but I would say go on then, try and stop him, because the boy can run, and he's got incredible skill as well. He has indeed. Gets you off your seat, doesn't he? Yeah, we mentioned this on Saturday. He's only on loan until January, Karen Loftus. He's on loan from Barnsley at Gateshead. But he's the target of this long ball this time. He wins the header, it takes a deflection off Coker, and that, I think, is a Gateshead throw. It is. Ollie comes across to take it quickly, but changes his mind, and they will leave it for Richardson. Right down in front of us, gets applause from Rob Elliott inside his technical area. Returning to the technical area after being banned for the Dorking game. He did say he might in future watch some games, or at least the start of some games from the stand. Yes. But given that this stand is only about 6 rows deep, there's really no advantage in not being in the technical area here at the Hive. The ball is allowed to run out of play for a Barnet throw-in, but it's right down by their own left-hand corner flag. We've played 28 minutes of this game, and Gateshead, even though they won 6-0 last weekend, took a good 20 minutes to get into the game. They've done exactly the same thing here this afternoon. And they could have been 3-0 up. Yes. But it's nils each. They were 3-0 up at more or less this stage of last Saturday's win, but they were playing a very different team. Mamadou Job wins a header inside the centre circle, but Barnet go long through the middle. But it's good covering, really good covering from Luke Hannant to not just judge the flight of the ball, but also knock it back cleanly to Mayer. Mayer goes long through the middle, forces Aluo into a header, and then Coker into a header on this left-hand side, and Richardson will get there first for Gateshead, and now Greg Ollie can pick it up spins on the halfway line. That through ball towards the run of Hannant on that far side is cut out, but not terribly well. He's running back towards his own goal, is Revan. He's managed to clear it with his weaker left foot, but only as far as Ollie. 30 yards out wide on this right hand side, but he's got in behind Canny up towards the edge of the box, lays it in. Chadwick too far wide but cuts it back, gets the ball back again because the cross was deflected out towards Hannant, who's found himself on this right hand side, lays it off. Richardson's ball is a good one. It's flicked on by a Barnet head towards the far post, and it's going to run all the way out. It's hit the corner flag and it stayed in play, so it gives an opportunity for Harry Pritchard to keep it in play, but and Gateshead thought they'd won a corner.
Fans want a corner.
Yeah, and that is the closest action that the Gateshead fans are going to see, because they are away in the far section of the stand to our right hand side, and that action took place right in front of them. They, perhaps in hope more than in expectation, were claiming for a corner, but they haven't got it.
Colin, when they get the ball up front, Gateshead, they look really menacing, don't they? You know, it's terrific play in and around the box.
It's a long goal kick taken by Laurie Walker. Kabamba wins the first and the second ball actually inside the centre circle. Spread to Coker on this left hand side, who tries to find Canny, who's given too solid a shove in the back. I think there were a couple of fouls in both directions that didn't meet the threshold for a foul. That one did, if we're honest.
But he didn't need to do it though, did he? The ball was going away from the goal, and he's more or less just pushed him down. I mean, just a yard outside the box.
It's also, there's a fan behind us, I don't know if you picked it up, is absolutely right, because the free kick is being taken from nowhere near where the foul took place. By nowhere near, genuinely 10, 12 yards away from where that foul took place. I'm not sure it's actually beneficial to Barnet, because it narrows the angle a little bit.
I'll lend him my glasses, yeah.
It makes the angle for a shot better. It makes the angle for a cross a little bit more difficult. Anyway, this is a free kick from the left hand side that is deep towards the far post. It's headed towards goal. They clear it off the line. It's a good challenge from Hannant. It's still going inside the 6 yard box. Gateshead clear it, and it's a goal kick in the end.
Goal kick.
That's the first one that they haven't solidly cleared.
No, they did, but then they did recover. Yes, it's a goal kick.
Yeah, and as we hit the half hour mark, it is still goalless here, and 10 minutes ago it had been all Barnet up to that point, but Gateshead have had a brilliant spell. Nothing to show for it other than Darren Lofthouse hitting the crossbar.
They've hit the crossbar. The goalkeeper's made a wonderful save, and Greg Ollie's shot from the edge of the box 6 inches past the post. A bit of luck, could have been 3-0.
The throw in taken quickly by Greg Ollie down this right hand side. They've won themselves some territory, if nothing else, Gateshead. So Kenton Richardson will take this throw in from literally right in front of us. Goes short, Ollie gets a kick, but does really well to spin round Pritchard down the right hand side. His ball takes a deflection. It'll be another throw in, but that's the advantage of us being so close, is that we can see how beautiful that turn was.
He just sent him for the pies there, didn't he? You know, he's got some class, Greg Ollie, I tell you. Now
Richardson down the right hand side with this throw in. He's got a couple of runners coming short for him. One of them is Ollie. It goes back to Richardson again. They're only 10 yards maybe from the byline. It's fired at Chadwick, who does well to control it, and Ollie flicks it round the corner, but to nobody in particular, and that one will be cleared by Barnet. Up towards Kanu, who is being well challenged by Regan Booty. They're back on the edge of their own box now, Barnet, but they will clear it through Collins on that far side. And it's a good spin inside the centre circle as well. And you know what's really annoying? Regan Booty did commit a foul. He tried to grab a hold of the shirt. I'm not sure he actually got a hold of it, but he did try to commit the foul, which in some ways, certainly in the laws of the game, is enough. And Barnet now with Kanu, lots of space down the left wing, gets the ball across. Good header out from Richardson, diving header out as far as Potter, 40 yards out. But now the space again, Coker, and then Kanu wide on this left hand side, got himself back onside. The move has slowed down a little bit, but Barnet is still in possession on their left wing. Potter back out to Kanu again. He's got time to size up the right footed cross. He smacks it off Greg Ollie, and it'll be out for a throw in.
Gateshead are getting back in numbers when Barnet's on the break. I mean, they're really solid at the back there. But
Idris Kanu he almost had 10 minutes off, because he didn't really contribute a huge amount in the last 7 or 8 minutes maybe, but he's been back on the ball in the last couple of minutes, and probably looks Barnet's most dangerous individual going forwards. They've rather wasted that attacking opportunity, Barnet, and gone all the way back into their own half. But in fairness to Danny Collins, a good turn inside the centre circle got them back going in the right direction again, but Gateshead win it off them. Billy Chadwick forced back inside his own half on that far left hand side, but Mamadou Joe with a good ball up towards Whelan, who'd come short for it. But they will keep possession at the moment under pressure. Gateshead on the edge of their own penalty area. Story square to Whelan, and then out to Richardson on this right hand side, and they've done really well actually to make some space for themselves. And we've had a goal in a couple of our non-league games as well. South Shields have gone 1-0 down at Southport in the FA Trophy, but Morpeth in their NPL Premier League game at home to Ilkeston have taken the lead. So Morpeth 1-0 up, South Shields 1-0 down.
Southport beat them last week 1-0.
They did indeed.
The league, yeah.
They did indeed. But now Ollie through the middle. Chadwick keeps himself onside. He was level with the defender. Up towards the edge of the box. Tries to find the bottom corner. It's tapped out. Lofthouse's angle is tight. He gets it back across the 6-yard box, and Chadwick puts it wide. And I'm not sure that Gateshead are going to get any closer than they have in the last 7 or 8 minutes without scoring.
Well, that was incredible. Brilliant strike by Chadwick. The goalkeeper made a brilliant save. And then the ball's come out. Who did it come out to?
Lofthouse on this right-hand side.
And he's fired it across to Chadwick, and Chadwick shot, and it's just hit the outside of the post, I think, hasn't it?
I think it has. Certainly the side netting at worst, because that's what we could see move from here. Lofthouse did the right thing, I think. The angle was getting tighter and tighter as he got towards the ball, so he decided to cut it back.
Good save from the keeper, though.
Yeah, and he's been called into action. I mean, Archimere down the other end hasn't made a save yet.
No.
There was one little scramble inside the 6-yard box a few minutes ago, but he hasn't had any saves to make. And Laurie Walker now has made 3 decent saves, and that doesn't include Gateshead hitting the crossbar through Lofthouse.
Well, all the chances I've got is for Gateshead, aren't they? We haven't got any yet for Barnet.
It's a throw into Barnet away on that far side. We've only got 10 minutes to go until the end of this first half. They go long. It's well controlled on the chest by Kabamba, but it isn't laid off accurately enough actually, and wheeling round the corner. The run from Booty up towards Wern, it's not quite accurate enough though, and Gateshead are flying out of the defence at speed, but Barnet have just got the footwork to get round them, and then through Pritchard out to Coker at left back, but over the halfway line. The first ball he wanted to play wasn't on, so he's had to go back, and it's loose, and Potter's forced all the way back.
Working exceptionally hard, Gateshead, aren't they?
They are, and they've got men on the bench who can come on and do this kind of work for the final half hour as well, if necessary. It's a really good header from Mamadou Job in the middle of his own half. It drops to Danny Collins on that far side for Barnet. Zach Brunt has to control and pass it on the slide, but he does really well. Revan tries to get round the outside of Job, he just doesn't let him, and Gateshead win a throw in midway inside their own half over on the far side. Now, from what we've read and heard about Barnet's first half against Chesterfield last weekend,
yes,
we're not sure how it ended goalless, that first half, and obviously they went on to lose 4-2. I'm not quite sure how we're still goalless here after 36 minutes either.
Well, especially for Gateshead, because
yes.
I mean they've had 4 real good chances, and they've got absolutely nothing to show from it.
Other than confidence, you're right. There's nothing on the the giant brand new LED scoreboard that is. Basically, we've got to really curve our necks to see it, so it's not of much use to us, but it is still goalless up there.
And I think Rob Elliott, who's just in front of us here, I think he'll be surprised that they're not in front as well.
But, and we'll talk about this a little bit more as the first half gets to its conclusion, he'll be happy enough so far though, Rob Elliott.
He'd be really pleased because they've played some really good football in their last third, and they've defended well. I mean, you're right, the goalkeeper hasn't had a save to make yet.
Mamadou Job goes long, high up in the air. It is controlled but not very well by Barnet inside the centre circle, and now Lofthouse on this right hand side goes inside, then outside again, down towards the byline. He'll probably cross this one, he cuts it back instead. Ollie tries to shoot, he mishits it completely. It's back to him in the edge of the area, turns, spins, finds the far corner, hits the post, and that is going to be a free kick inside the penalty box. That would have counted. Gateshead have now hit the crossbar and the post.
I cannot believe that. I just can't believe. We're right behind that. It's going into the bottom corner, and it just turns at the last minute, hits the foot of the post, and it's cleared. Unbelievable. Am I talking this could have been 5-0 half time?
Well, if you class shots that either hit the woodwork or are within a foot of hitting the woodwork as potential goals, then yes, absolutely, we have hit that criteria. He completely mishit his first effort, Greg Ollie, but he did well. The ball rebounded back to him, and he did really well to spin and find space for a second shot. Still not sure he caught it quite as well as he would have wanted to, but it had the accuracy
Brilliant football.
Give or take a couple of inches, it hit the inside of the far post. It's a really solid challenge from Mamadou Diop that the referee's decided to let go. I mean, it was hefty, but he got the ball. Referee is happy, and on we go. And that suddenly lifted the crowd.
Well, he had a good look at it, didn't he? Had a real good look at it.
He's not short of confidence, is Mamadou Diop, in his challenges, in his headers, in his passing. Kenton Richardson's just miscontrolled it, and it's a throw-in on this near side. But we've not really had a challenge like that.
No, we haven't. That's the first.
In the 38 minutes of this game, and that was solid.
I can't believe just looking down at my notes there, and that's 5 chances to Gateshead.
You've lost your team sheet down to the left-hand side.
That's
Paul.
the excitement, that.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Revan, who's come out to this left-hand side, I just wonder if they've switched Barnet, because he'd been playing right back, takes the throw-in from 7 or 8 yards further forward than he should have been able to. Gateshead clear it though over the halfway line, and it will bounce 2 or 3 times before it's into the hands of Laurie Walker, who's made a few good saves and has also been helped out by the woodwork.
He certainly has.
Kabamba wins the flick header though on the edge of the penalty area, and Richardson's up against Kanu. He needs to keep his hands down. Out to Revan, who's now on this left hand side. The ball's hooked high in the air by Pritchard. It's caught in the wind actually, and it's not really very well cleared by Gateshead. Job gets his head on it, then gets clattered, and it's a free kick to Gateshead on the edge of their own penalty area.
I think Job's done all right.
He's looked really good.
I mean, he's very competitive, right? And the headers he needs to win at the back, he's won them. And when he's passing the ball, he's confident in his pass.
You're not getting that team sheet back.
Oh,
that one's well and truly gone. Unless you've got some very kind person. You do. You've got it back before it made its way onto the pitch. Well done. Thank you to that man.
It was nearly on the pitch.
It was.
Yeah, that shows you.
At which point you wouldn't have been allowed to go and get it back.
No.
And Gateshead have got the ball midway inside their own half. It's with Job on that far side. I was going to tell you a little bit more about him in a minute, but Gateshead try and build a move down that left hand side. It comes to naught though, and Pritchard picks it up inside the centre circle for Barnet, out to Kanu on this left hand side, but back to Pritchard again. Under a good bit of pressure from Regan Booty, and he's forced back to his goalkeeper. He's only 20 years of age, Mamadou Diop, but this is his 5th loan spell away from Cambridge. He's not played a league game for Cambridge United. He's only played trophy games for them this season. Lofthouse has got a bit of running to do, but he does well, and he's just nudged Revan off the ball legally. He has a word with him as he gets back up again, and that verbal match might continue, but it's a Gateshead goal kick, and it's good defending.
But you've said though, Job's only 20, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's just a young boy. He's playing with an older head on his shoulders today, man.
Indeed, in Louis' story, and Kenton Richardson, who, he's only 24, but has played a good amount now of senior football as well. The ball is back with Job in the left back position. Gives it to Whelan, who tries to flick it on first time towards Hannant on that far side, but Barnet intercept and keep it in play. Kabamba was offside though, and that one will run through to the feet of Archie Mayer. 4 minutes to go until half time, still 0-0 somehow.
They've got to get the ball out of Lofthouse. I mean, he's had 2 runs and they've been petrified of him. Got to give him the ball again and let him get running at them.
Yeah, they haven't really used him.
No, they haven't. No.
To the extent or as often as they could have, Gateshead. Yeah, so 4 minutes to go until half time, and Gateshead will be pretty satisfied if they go in goalless. They'll be disappointed they haven't scored any of their own, but they've defended quite well. Richardson with pace down this right hand side. He's got Lofthouse, he's just overhit it though, and he's challenged Richardson 20 yards from the Barnet goal, and now Barnet might have a chance to break themselves. Still inside their own half, but a good turn from Kanu is well blocked off by Regan Booty. They're back in possession now. Gateshead, Ollie up towards the edge of the box. Lofthouse tries to get in behind, he does, cuts it back across the face of goal. That was a beautifully struck pass across the 6-yard box, and it's gone out for a throw-in on the far side, but he's dangerous.
He is. And Stephen Warren just couldn't keep up with him, and he's whipped the ball across, and he just couldn't get his foot to it. Got to get the ball out of Lofthouse. He's causing mayhem down this right-hand side. There's
good news and there's bad news from elsewhere. South Shields are now 2-0 down at Southport, but Blythe lead at Warrington by 1-0. Those are the 2 FA Trophy matches that we're keeping most eyes on this afternoon. Hartlepool are 2-0 up at York City as well. Barnet have got a throw in. Carl Magny's screaming at the defence to rearrange themselves in some way, but Stephen Warren's burst down the left hand side here for Gateshead to try and end this first half strongly. Knocks it back to Whelan on the edge of the box, but out to Warren on the left hand side again. Hannant wanted it from him, but he's still in possession on the corner of the penalty area, sizing up his options, but Barnet don't close them down. So Booty, he tried to find a run that hadn't actually been made yet down that left hand side, but it just trickles out for a throw in, so Gateshead can still keep Barnet hemmed in.
He was looking for a player that wasn't there.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
basically.
He just didn't turn up, that player, did he? You know, he was passing to.
Carl Magny and Rob Elliott are both getting a bit frustrated, but with smiles on their faces, genuinely, when they turn back and realise that what they're trying to get across, the players just can't hear on the far side. But Rob Elliott is still chuntering away to Kyron Lofthouse, even though, I mean, he's the furthest wide right of Gateshead's players, and he's still in the left-hand half of the pitch. But that's the benefit of being so close to the pitch as well.
He's given a free kick.
He has given a Gateshead free kick, and Hannon has stayed down after this, but I'm hoping he'll be alright, and it's just a bit of a clatter. But over on that far side, probably 35 yards from goal in a straight line, but it's going to be a dangerous angle for a delivery as well. And they're still trying to reorganise this defence as Rob Elliott now has a conversation with Louis Story, who is, of course, a player coach. So he's more than just...
They seem happy, though. They're happy
they
with
do,
their
yeah.
instructions, yeah.
I mean, it's a discussion that's quite a long...
Yeah, there's a chance here.
Prolonged one.
Greg Ollie free kick.
It is. So Greg Ollie's going to take this one from the far side. Barnet have brought every single player back. I'm disappointed that Kenton Richardson is the one Gateshead player back, though, because he's got real height and presence, but he is not part of this posse of players that Greg Ollie's going to be able to aim for. From the far side, it's low towards the near post, it bounces across, and it's only a couple of yards wide because the goalkeeper got a touch on it, and he gets a high five from a couple of his defenders. Laurie Walker has made a really good save there, I think.
He has, but I mean, did Louis touch it, or was it from the free kick from Greg?
I don't think anybody, because I wasn't sure that anybody had got a touch on it, but the way that
Louis went sliding in,
the corner's been given, and Laurie Walker was being congratulated, so he's clearly got his fingers on it. Gateshead, in the final 20 seconds of the opening 45, have got a corner, which Greg Ollie's come across. Wern came short for him, but he's ignored him. But what he has done is dragged two defenders out here. So Ollie can now take this one. Again towards the near post, but it's headed clear this time, only as far as Whelan, who controls it. Gets it back out to Ollie on this right-hand side. Lovely through the legs. And Wern is challenged, and there is no injury time whatsoever, and that is the end of the first half.
Well, a terrific first half for Gateshead. I can't believe we're going to talk about 5 opportunities and not one of them have gone in there. It's nils each half time, but I think Rob Elliott will be more than pleased, but then he'll be thinking we could have been 2 or 3 at least.
They absolutely could have been. We'll take a couple of minutes to go through those chances, actually, because a little bit like last Saturday, opening 20 minutes, they didn't threaten Gateshead.
They haven't, no.
But the ones that got started, again a bit like last weekend, they really raised the tempo of things and got in behind, and there was a good effort from Greg Ollie after 21 minutes that went maybe a couple of yards wide of the right hand post, and then within the same 60-second move, Stephen Wern's shot wasn't far away either, and then probably the best passage of play of the whole game, in fact not probably, definitely, Kyron Lofthouse. I'm going to let you describe what Kyron Lofthouse did from inside his own half.
Well, inside his own half, he's picked the ball up, he's beat one defender, then he's beat another one, and that was 4 defenders, and he's found himself inside the box from the halfway line, and then a left foot shot, which do you think the keeper touched it onto the bar? Did it go?
I don't think he did.
No, so he's hit the crossbar, and then it was cleared. It was a sensational piece of play, and as good a piece of play as I've seen for a long, long time. He's an exciting player, Lofthouse.
And it wasn't the only time that they hit the woodwork either, because Greg Ollie did the same off the post about 12 minutes later. It was Greg Ollie that hit the post, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was.
I've written down post. I forgot to write down who it was.
I thought it was in from my angle.
Yeah, and that was actually either side of them hitting the post as well. There were another couple of moves that led to shots. Billy Chadwick had an effort that was very close, hit the side netting on the far side, because Lofthouse again had made good momentum down the right hand side, and the angle was really tight after the save from Laurie Walker, but he cut it across, and Chadwick just couldn't quite get his foot at the right angle at the far post. They've come very, very close, Gateshead, but ultimately this is a good conversation for us to be having and Rob Elliott to be having in the dressing room.
Well, it certainly is, but if you're going to ask me about Barnet's chances, I haven't got any. And I mean, the Gateshead goalkeeper hasn't had to make a save, which is incredible. But they're a dangerous team. They're dangerous on the break, but so is Gateshead. I'll be very surprised in the second half if we don't see a goal, and I hope it's...
Well, I was holding off saying this. I remember I told you this on the way down.
Yeah.
I was holding off saying this. This is the 18th time that Gateshead and Barnet have played against each other in their
Tell
history.
me, Colin.
This incarnation of Gateshead, anyway. We haven't had a goalless draw yet. in the first 17 games between these two sides.
Nils each half time.
Surely we can, surely we cannot have a goalless draw yet this afternoon. But that is the score at half-time here at the Hive. Colin White and Paul Dixon will be back with you for full second half commentary. But in the meantime, Dominic James will take you through all the other things at the break, because here at the Hive at half-time, it is Gateshead 0, Barnet 0.
BBC Radio Newcastle at breakfast.
Hi, it's Matt here. Well, what a week it's been for BBC Children in Need. Let's do this!
3, 2, 1.
We're off!
Hi Matt, this is Sting, wishing you a good pedalo.
If I had your powerful thighs, Julio, then probably done in about half an hour. I am achy, I am tired. And if I never see that pedalo ever again, it'll be too soon. Thank you so much for all your support this week. You can donate still at bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
Breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio. Half time then at the Hive. Barnet 0, Gateshead 0 back with Colin White and Paul Dixon for second half commentary. Shortly, not much domestic action this weekend with the international break in League One. Blackpool are beating Shrewsbury Town 2-0 at half time. The only other game in League One this afternoon, Stevenage Lincoln, that is goalless. In League 2, in the early kick-off, Notts County beat Bradford City 4-2. Macaulay Langstaff, former Gateshead striker, scoring 2 there. It's Accrington Stanley 0, Wrexham 0, Barrow 0, Crawley Town 0. Doncaster versus Walsall postponed due to international call-ups today. Forest Green Rovers 2-0 up over Grimsby at half-time. Gillingham, Salford are ones each. Swindon winning 1-0 away to Harrogate at the break. Mansfield leading 1-0 over Newport. Stockport County 1-0 up over Colchester. The only other game in League 2 this afternoon is Tranmere versus Sutton, and Tranmere are leading 1-0.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Into the National League then, as we already know, Gateshead and Barnet are goalless, as is Bromley versus Fylde this afternoon. Dorking Wanderers, who Gateshead played last week and thumped 6-0, are leading Boreham Wood 1-0 this afternoon. Eastleigh also leading 1-0. They are at home to Altrincham, and Oxford City are leading 2-0 away from home. They are against Ebbsfleet. It's goalless between Halifax and Wealdstone, and Kidderminster and Dagenham and Redbridge are goalless. Ones each between Rochdale and Aldershot. Maidenhead United, though, away to Solihull Moors. They're 1-0 up there. Chesterfield, the league leaders in the National League, they're away to Southend United, leading 1-0 at the break. Will Grigg with their goal, of course, the former Sunderland striker. Goalless between Woking and Oldham. The only other game in the National League this afternoon is Hartlepool versus York, and Hartlepool are 2-0 there.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And just non-league wise for our teams this afternoon, Blythe in the FA Trophy. Blythe are 1-0 up over Warrington Town. McHale and Jolie with the goal for Blythe. Not so good news for South Shields. They are 2-0 down at half-time. Work to do if they are to keep their FA Trophy Cup running going. In the Northern Premier League, Morpeth Town are leading Ilston 1-0. Sam Hodgson with the goal there. In the Northern Premier League East Division, Concert are losing 1-0 away to Bridlington Town. That game was delayed by 10 minutes. Concert having some travel issues getting there, but so they're still playing there. The only other game in the East Division today is Ashington's game away to North Ferriby. It's goalless there. Dunstan and Hebburne's games this afternoon were postponed. Sticking with football though, and last night England beat Malta 2-0 at Wembley in a Euro qualifier. Not the most convincing performance. England needed an own goal to break the deadlock in the first half. Harry Kane netting in the second half to ensure the victory. BBC's John Murray spoke to the England manager Gareth Southgate after the game.
It's a classic, really. If you don't start games well, it's very hard to pick it up, and we didn't. So we know that the level we've got should be better, can be better. I think those games where you know at the back of your mind you can win at a canter, with the number of games the players are playing, I think sometimes there's almost a self-regulation, and we didn't hit the heights that we obviously have done through the rest of this calendar year. So not not enough quality on the ball, not enough chances created. But I've been a player. I know exactly how those nights feel, and clearly it's possible we could have had 3 or 4 with a couple of different decisions as well. But we didn't create enough clear chances to really deserve that anyway.
I know that the talent is out there on the field, but it's a little bit like the conversations we were having last month for the Australia game, which I know was, in inverted commas, a weaker team. Should we be concerned? Should England fans be concerned when it's not absolutely all of your frontliners, your first choice players who are in the team?
Well, we've asked people to fill some roles tonight that aren't their usual position, like Fikayo, and it's not so easy for him to build down that side. We've obviously got problems with availability in that area of the pitch, and you're trying to give some of the players a bit of a breather as well because of the amount of football they have. So in the end you can pay for that a little bit. I think we've got a lot of players that weren't in there tonight. We still had some good performances in there tonight. I thought Trent was very, very good. Phil as well. I thought Mark Gurhey was very accomplished. And Cole Palmer coming on had a good impact on his debut. So there were some positives to take from that, but we know the level wasn't where we want to be or can be.
England manager Gareth Southgate there speaking to BBC's John Murray after last night's 2-0 win over Malta at Wembley. England, of course, next in action on Monday away to North Macedonia. Tomorrow, though, in the Women's Championship, there's a top-of-the-table clash in the Women's Championship. Sunderland are away to Charlton. A win for the Black Cats would return them to top of the table. BBC Radio Newcastle Sunderland commentator Nick Barnes has been talking to the Sunderland head coach Mel Ray.
The team's been unbelievable. You can only hope and pray for the form that we've carried from the start to now, and we spoke this week as a group that you now have to go on another run. You now have to roll your sleeves up, remember what you're good at, remember them tough times that we maybe went to St Mary's and won 1-0 and how good it felt, and you got to go back to basics and really do the good, the basic things really well. And we've been tuning the players into that this week, and they've had lots of touches of the ball, and they've got their mojo back. They're not down in the dumps. They're chest out, sleeves rolled up, and ready to go.
There's a fine line, isn't there, between over-egging where you are and putting pressure on young players, but the other side of the coin is if you're still in this position in a few weeks' time, and after the next 3 or 4 matches, it's a completely different sort of pressure because you're approaching the finishing line. Yeah. And that's very different to starting the season in this position. Yeah, very different, and we hopefully have a few more bodies back over the next couple of weeks as well, which having Amy missing it and Jenna missing is I think they're both massive players, and you've seen the part that they've played, and I think that goes to show the strength and depth as well that we've used and utilised different players in different positions over the cup games and given them opportunities to step in. It's been a real squad effort, and if we're still in this position in January, February, then we maybe have to restock and think about how we finish the season. Well, you've mentioned how Karen at Charlton well. I mean, and she's got a fantastic CV, if you like, with all that time she spent at Tottenham. She's clearly brought that into play now at Charlton, so that there's a pedigree there. You can probably understand why they are doing so well. Yeah, she's added to our squad this season. I don't think they're that different from what they were last season, but she's been there, like you say, a number of years, and I've known her for a long time. We used to play against each other. She used to play for Charlton, and I used to play for Sunderland. So the history of that we both got in the game, and we are really good friends. But come Sunday, then I want to certainly be taking all 3 points off her. That is the Sunderland head coach Mel Ray there, speaking ahead of their match with Charlton tomorrow. Also in the Championship, Durham are away to Birmingham in the Women's National League tomorrow. Newcastle United are away to Nottingham Forest. Kick-off is at 2. Away from football and rugby union's Premiership last night, the Newcastle Falcons were beaten 40 points to 22 by the Sale Sharks. And after the game, our rugby union commentator Dean Gray spoke to the Falcons head coach Alex Codling. Alex, you made 13 changes to the side. That's virtually unheard of for a Premiership match. What was the logic behind the changes?
Well, lots of reasons really. Firstly, a 5-day turnaround, which is extremely tough. Secondly, we've got injuries in the camp after the game last week. Thirdly, I learned a harsh lesson around Mateo Carreras where I tried to push it another week and he pulled his hamstring, so I had to give the Argentinian players a rest, having had a really arduous and obviously very positive World Cup. And then also in the back of my mind, obviously after the result last week, you've got players there worked incredibly hard over the last few weeks, haven't had a shot, and you've got to give them a shot. So, and we've had 1 day's training. There's 4 Gallagher Premier debutants and an 18-year-old fullback. And I've got 2 overriding emotions. One is immense pride.
Yep.
Immense pride. We were 10-5 up after 28 minutes and then 26-10 down after 40. And we're staring down the barrel at that point. I thought the response in the second half was incredible. I thought our resilience, our tenacity, our togetherness was outstanding. But for a few kicks, we probably would have been ahead at that point. The other emotion I have is just a bit of frustration at the end, because people who haven't watched the game will see that scoreline and think we've been battered. But it's been anything but.
Bottom of the table, obviously, and third of the way through the season now. No alarm bells winning. You're pretty happy with the way the players are developing. You're not winning games yet, but you're getting ever closer and putting in some performances.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't even look at the league table. It has no interest to me. I'm just worried about trying to develop this group, along myself and the coaching staff, trying to help them as much as we can. And as I said, look, we could have very different conversations by the width of the post in 2 games and a couple of opportunities at Bath. So that's rugby. Sometimes you're on the right side and sometimes you're wrong side, and we just keep working. And I said we're looking forward to now being back at home. There's a big initiative around the Wall Flags next week in the West Ham, which would be a massive lift for the players. So for any Falcons fans, I know last week was tough, and believe me, I felt it as much as they did. But I urge them to get behind the boys on Sunday, and the ones that weren't here tonight will see the effort. I haven't watched it on the television, and they do make a difference.
That was the Newcastle Falcons head coach Alex Codling speaking to our rugby union commentator Dean Gray there. Just quickly then in basketball, last night the Newcastle Eagles beat the Plymouth City Patriots 98 points to 82. And just football, just quickly before we go, concert was still playing. It's just gone half time, but Bridlington are now 2-0 up over Concert. That's in the Northern Premier League East Division. Time though on BBC Radio Newcastle to head back to the Hive for second half commentary of Barnet versus Gateshead in the company of Colin White and Paul Dixon.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Thank you very much, Dominic. Gateshead are making their way back out onto the pitch. Barnet are here already, and it looks as though there is going to be a change, but who it's a change for I don't quite know yet. The reason I think there's a change is that the fourth official has got his board.
Yeah,
it is going to be a Barnet change, so we'll come to that in just a moment. So I can tell you the Gateshead team, because they're not going to make any changes. So Archie Mayer is in goal. Their back 3 is Mamadou Job, Louis Story and Kenton Richardson. Kyron Lofthouse is the right wing back, Luke Hannant is the left wing back, Regan Booty and Callum Whelan alongside each other, with Stephen Wern and Greg Ollie in front of them in that midfield, with Billy Chadwick up front. On the bench for Gateshead, Tom Allen, Ed Francis, Marcus Dinanga, Jordan Hunter and Connor Pani. And actually, just before we go to the Barnet team, it looked Billy Chadwick hasn't actually had he's not had a huge part to play in the first half, but he's been a very willing runner.
Well, plus the goalkeeper made a brilliant save for him, and he hit the outside of the post. Just, with a little bit of luck, he could have had 2 goals. But you're right, he needs to be more in the game, because every time Billy gets on the ball, in and around the box, he makes things happen.
Yeah, they've made a little bit of an attacking change. And I think it's a switch of formation as well. I think they've gone back to a back 4 rather than a 5, have Barnet, because off has gone Finlay Potter, the centre half, on loan from Sheffield United, and Dale Gorman who's come on, who's captain, or was captain at least last weekend. Whether he's taken the armband back, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll give you the full Barnet lineup in just a moment. But we are about to get the second half underway, and it will be Billy Chadwick for Gateshead, who are in their away strip of light blue shirts, maroon shorts and socks. They're playing from right to left in front of us. Barnet in bright orange shirts with black shorts and black socks. So they've got Laurie Walker in goal, Ben Coker at left back, Danny Collins and Adebola Aluwo as the 2 centre halves, Dom Revan at right back, although I realise actually that they changed that with about 10 minutes to go in the first half to try and counter Kyron Lofthouse, but they've started with Revan back on this right hand side again, and it's him who right in front of us knocks the ball straight out of play. So he is at right back, Aluwo and Collins as the centre halves, Coker on that far side at left back, which leaves Dale Gorman in the middle of midfield with Anthony Hartigan and Harry Pritchard, Zach Brunt, Idris Kanu and Nicky Kabamba. On the bench for Barnet, Jerome Okimo, Courtney Senior, Callum Stead and Gary Hooper. as Gateshead win a free kick somewhat fortuitously inside their own half, and Stephen Wern sort of stumbled a little bit but was given a push in the process, and Gateshead have a free kick 30 yards from their own goal that Regan Booty is going to take, and he just lofts it forward to Ollie, who then plays it out to Lofthouse on that far side. This is his first opportunity to run in the second half, having hit the bar at the end of a brilliant run in the first half. He goes backwards this time to Booty, but back out to him again, and he cuts inside and is fouled, and that they know what they're going to do to him is get very, very close, and if they have to foul him, they'll foul him.
First run, down you go, right?
Yes.
If he looks like getting past you, bring him down in the half done. But it's a dangerous free kick for Gateshead.
It is, and it's Regan Booty, number 3, who's gone to take this one from the far side because he can swing it in with his left foot. They've brought everybody back, Barnet. So again, and I'm going to say it again, it's disappointing that Kenton Richardson is the one man who stays back, but Louis Story making moves at the back post. Job at the back post as well. Booty delivers it towards the Job. He puts it across goal. They can't get it goalwards. It's in. Yes. They've scored. Gateshead have finally scored. Chance after chance in the first half, but they take the first one of the second. 2 minutes gone in the second period. I think it might have been Greg Ollie who managed to bundle it home after all that, but a great delivery from Regan Booty. Job won the header at the back post. It bounced a couple of times inside the 6-yard box. There were a couple of swings at it as well before the final touch took it over the line. It is Gateshead who lead by a goal to nil.
Brilliant, absolutely. It's a sloppy goal, but it's gone in, right?
It's Stephen Wern.
Is it Stephen Wern? Is it
Stephen Wern? He's getting the congratulations of his teammates, and you can normally tell from the body language it's Stephen Wern. I'm pretty sure he scored that one now.
But it was bundled in at the back post, was it? Do you think he headed it in?
You know what? And this is a terrible thing to admit. I don't know, because so much happened in that.
So many bodies
box.
in the box.
Bodies and balls bouncing, but the very important thing is that this is not going to finish 0-0.
And
also Gateshead lead.
You mentioned that.
Gateshead leads 2 minutes into the second half.
Great start.
And that will just, not that the tempo needed rising anyway, but it will just add something extra to this second half. Now Zach Brunt tries to go through Louis Story, but the clearances come back the way of Brunt. It just hits the heel, and Story still has to slide on the penalty spot to get it out to Job on the far side. It just ricocheted off 2 or 3 different players, and as much as we want Gateshead to go forward, and they scored 3 goals in 9 minutes last Saturday, they also have to be wary that Barnet will respond very, very quickly.
They've got to keep the back door closed now, haven't they?
But the crossfield pass from Barnet is not particularly good, so Callum Whelan can intercept that one and give it to Lofthouse on that far side, and now over the halfway line he carries it without any real challenge on him. Chadwick came very short for him on that right hand side. Gets it back again though on the right wing, and now he can cut inside to find Regan Booty. Referee steps out of the way. He tries to send Wern in behind. It's a good stretch from the defender that gets it away, or gets the interception in that stopped the ball from reaching Stephen Wern, and he scored a goal very similar to that last weekend. Barnet have made a bit of a mess, and they've gone all the way back to Okimo at centre half, but now out onto that Olubo, sorry. Okimo's the centre half on the bench. Olubo.
We'll see what Barnet's made of now. They've got to come out and they've got to get 2 to win.
Kabamba wins the header on, but it was flicked too far ahead of Idris Kanu, and it lands at the feet of Archie Mayer, who was just going to stand with his hands on his hips for as long as he can get away with, and then pick the ball up. 4.5 minutes gone though in the second half, and Gateshead lead by 1-0. Stephen Wern puts the ball down at his feet, and under pressure actually has to make a bit of a hurried clearance. Archie Mayer up over the halfway line as they hook it over the top. Barnet again. Job under pressure from Kabamba. It's up in the air. Story with a very brave header back towards the goalkeeper, who does not manage to keep it in play, and Archie Mayer has conceded a corner. I say Archie Mayer's conceded a corner. In truth, it's Louis Story who's conceded the corner.
It was a bad header to give him. The goalie was right under pressure. He done well to get out and dive on top of it, but it just hit his chest and went over the line. I hope this is not... we need to get away with this.
Yes, South Shields are now 3-0 down at Southport in the FA Trophy. But here at the Hive, Gateshead lead by 1-0, but Dale Gormer came on as a half-time substitute. Is going to take the corner from the far side. It's short towards the near post. A really good diving header from Luke Hannand actually that gets it away, only as far as Coker on that far side. They had to work to keep it in play, and they've given possession away, Barnet. Ollie couldn't get a proper connection on it though, but they have been chased all the way back. It's given away, and now Stephen Wern and Chadwick through the middle. It is 2 against 2. Wern up to the edge of the box, couple of step overs, fires it towards the far corner, but it's a couple of yards wide, and given the chance that's wasted, Paul Dixon.
Should have done better, should have done much better. It was 2-on-1, and Stephen Wern should have played Billy in, but he shot, and it was a poor shot at goal. That should have been 2-0, that. They'll not get a better chance than that. No, they'll not get a better chance than that.
They go long through the middle. Kenton Richardson wins the header in his own half up in the air. It's a towering header as well from Adebola Aluwo, but it's too solid, and it goes all the way through to Archie Mayer, all in yellow, away to our right-hand side.
That would have been the icing on the cake, I think, wouldn't it? 2-0 up.
Warren, though, has kept himself onside this time, tries to get in behind Aluwo, but can't quite on that far side. I was hoping that most of the play would be behind this near side in the second half, given it was all over there in the first half, but Gateshead again through Lofthouse down the right hand side this time towards the corner flag, up against Coker, tries to get down towards the byline. It wasn't Coker, actually, it was Hartigan that's made a good challenge, and it's a Gateshead corner, and Greg Ollie is in no particular rush to take this, so he will jog over. And it wasn't a corner that led to the goal, but it was a set piece from that side of the pitch.
Free kick, yeah, it was.
On that occasion it was an in-swinging free kick from Regan Booty. This time it's going to be an out-swinging corner kick from Greg Ollie. Gateshead, Barnet have left somebody up this time, but it's 1 against 1 at the back. Ollie clips it towards the 6-yard box. It's over the top of everybody, and not even Callum Whelan is going to keep this in play on Gateshead's left-hand side, and that's a bit of a waste.
Well, it was a waste. He should have done better than that, Greg. He's better than that. I mean, he just took the corner and it went out for a throw-in on the other side.
We are now very much under the floodlights here at the Hive, and you may have heard us mention earlier on the new floodlights are making a debut this afternoon.
They're doing very well. They're good, good floodlights.
Good solid performance so far. Barnet down the left hand side. Collins has kept himself on side here. It's not a great clearance though, and Gateshead try and start again. The ball up from Booty towards Chadwick though was too far wide of him, and he was never going to be able to catch that one. So Barnet go long. Kabamba wins the header again. He does flick it on to Kane this time. He's back to goal, edge of the box, lays it off to Brunt. He's got the overlapping run from Gorman on the far side. Forces a brilliant save from Archie Mayer. Terrifically solid right wrist that kept that one out, and it's out for a throw-in on the far side. He's made a save now, and it was a very good one. Quality
save it was. That looked goal-bound. He hit it full on. You're right, just threw his right hand out. Brilliant wrist save.
Yeah, and Barnet just put a really quick, neat move together as well. 8.5 minutes into the second half, and they've got to go chasing now.
That could have been one
a goal down. And Gorman, who came on, as I say, as a half-time substitute, has got their first shot on target of the second half. He's got the ball again, 30 yards from goal, goes square to Revan on this right-hand side. He's got the overlap as well from Brunt if he wants it. It's overhit a bit. He slides as he tries to keep it in play. He does. Hannant knocks it out for a throw-in. I think it's a throw-in, pretty much by the corner flag, this one. So Brunt just takes some of the grass off his studs first before he throws the ball back, and Danny Collins will come and take this. And the way he's drying the ball with his shirt suggests that there's a long throw coming. He's not exactly got a lot of space to run between the advertising hoardings and the touchline, but that's what he's going to try and do.
He's got about a metre.
So Gateshead will bring everybody apart from Billy Chadwick back for this. It is a long throw towards the near post, up in the air off the head of Lofthouse, and it's going to be a corner. Of Job, sorry, and it's a corner.
Yeah, got to defend this. They need to withstand it at least another 10-15 minutes of winning 1-0.
Yes. Or go and score another one down the other end.
Well,
that would help.
Yeah, which they should have.
Yeah, Coker is going to take this corner. Left-footed in swinger. It's deeper this time. The header comes in and it's just wide of that far post.
Free
and
kick.
There was space for Danny Collins.
Yeah.
Has it been given as a free kick in the end?
Yeah,
has
it is. Pushing, I think.
But he will be disappointed, the Barnet defender, that he didn't get his header on target.
Yeah.
Gateshead will be disappointed that he had as much space as he did.
And I'm pleased the refs blew.
Yes. So that little spell from Barnet ends with a Gateshead goal kick that, like they did, or free kick, sorry, but pretty much from the edge of their own 6-yard box, and Archie Mayer goes long this time towards Lofthouse on the right hand side, but he doesn't win the header. Booty has to try and intercept inside his own half, but he misses it, and now Kanu on the left wing for Barnet, down towards the byline, cuts inside. Richardson has an effort on goal, very good save from Archie Mayer again, and it's a corner, and Barnet are building.
But they are. What a save, though. The keeper done brilliant, dashing off his line to make it difficult for the Barnet striker. But it was a good shot and a good save.
So it's Barnet's second corner in quick succession, but it's going to be taken by Gorman from that far side this time. Puts his left hand up before he takes this one. And again, this is deeper towards the back post. Collins gets his foot on it this time, and he forces Archie Mayer. He shot the volley, went into the ground, bounced up high, and from here it might just have snuck in the top corner. So Archie Mayer made absolutely sure.
Took no chances, flicked it over the bar. This is a good spell for Barnet. Gateshead have got to show their mettle here and defend.
We're 11 minutes into the second half. Gateshead lead by a goal to nil, and the referee's not going to let Coker take this one yet, because he wants to have a word with Nicky Kabamba and Mamadou Job, because there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on the edge of the Gateshead 6-yard box. So our referee Richie Watkins has a word, and then the two of them will go back inside the 6-yard box and do exactly the same thing again. You ready? Coker to take this corner for Barnet from the left hand side towards the penalty spot. Collins gets his head on it, hits the post, and it's out for a goal kick this time.
Yeah.
But Danny Collins is clearly the danger. He's got his head on two of them now, and his foot on the other one.
Clipped the outside the post and went by.
Yes.
Yeah. Could have easily hit the inside the post and gone in. 1-0 Gateshead.
So Gateshead, who hit the woodwork twice in the first half, have led a little bit of a charmed life in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Danny Collins getting on the end of 3 separate corners. 2 good headers, one which went just wide but wouldn't have counted anyway. The other one that hit the outside of the far post, the same post that Greg Ollie hit in the first half. The referee's still having a word. I wondered why the play had stopped here. The referee's still having a word with Dale Gorman.
He's not happy,
who is now the Barnet captain, having come on at half time and taken the armband from Harry Pritchard, who remains on the pitch. Pritchard. Now this will be a goal kick that Story takes short to Archie Mayer, and then under pressure from Kabamba they go long anyway. There's a collision in the middle of the pitch that was nowhere near the ball, and this has just got a little bit tetchy.
And it's in Barnet's favour, isn't it, at the minute? Yeah.
It is. They've got a free kick on the halfway line, and Coker takes it quickly, so they go out to Kanu on that far side, midway inside the Gateshead half, up against Lofthouse, goes round the outside of him, but cuts back onto his right foot again, so he hasn't made progress towards goal, and he's just been held off, but he's held on to the ball. Short to Hartigan, now back out to that far side. Coker back to Hartigan again. Gateshead with everybody behind the ball now, and Barnet forced back to the centre circle. Collins, who hit the post just a minute ago, clips it towards the far post. It's kept, well, I thought it was going to be kept in. They just couldn't quite get the direction right, Barnet, but that was a lovely ball towards the back post.
Great delivery, and he should have really done better. He should have gotten on the end of that, and he's miskicked it and it's just gone out.
Yeah, it's Harry Pritchard at the back post, who slid in and made contact with the ball but couldn't cut it back across the face. He's just put it straight out for a Gateshead goal kick.
The back lads have got to do their job. They've got to defend. They're under a bit of pressure, and you've got to weather the storm.
Indeed, they've gone short again from the goal kick, and they try and beat the press. It's a good ball actually from Archie Mayer, clipped up towards Chadwick, and now he sends Callum Whelan in behind on the right hand side, lays it off. Chadwick, centre of the pitch, 30 yards out, tries to find Hannant on this left hand side, but it's intercepted, and it was a lovely move from Gateshead because it was all planned. There's a push inside the centre circle that Louis Story has got away with, because he just pushed Nicky Kabamba in the back, but he stayed down, Louis Story.
That attack there for Gateshead, it should have been a better pass. It was a poor pass, and should have gotten them in, and they would have had a chance.
Yeah, they took
they know it as well there. They're looking and talking to each other, thinking we should have done better.
But it was a lovely move as Hartlepool go 3-0 up at York City in what I said was I might have said earlier was an FA Trophy match. It's not, it's a National League match. And Louis Story's been booked for dissent. Now he clearly got a knock in the face because the referee's ordering him off to the side of the pitch to get some treatment, which can only be blood coming out of his nose. And
has he been booked?
He has been booked, yeah. But he's been booked for getting annoyed that he didn't get a free kick. And now Barnet are going to get annoyed because he's been treated on the pitch and there's nothing to stop him walking off the pitch. And the referee is now going to insist that he goes off the pitch as well, yes. So Louis Story took a knock in the face and got treatment and got a yellow card and annoyed a lot of the Barnet fans in the space of a minute or so. And this is Louis Story, the professional, who is just killing as much time as he possibly can here.
I think he's getting a knock in the nose.
Oh, he has. There's no question. Oh, no, I'm not questioning whether he needs treatment. He wouldn't be coming off if he didn't need treatment.
I think
but
there's
just
a bit
taking
of blood
his
there
time.
as well.
There is. That's why the referees ordered him off the side of the pitch in the first place. He's going to have to change his shirt as well. The upshot of all of this is it's going to be a drop ball in front of Archie Mayer, the Gateshead goalkeeper. He's just going to be under a little bit of pressure from Kabamba, but it was token pressure more than anything else. So he picks the ball up. 16 minutes gone in the second half. Gateshead lead still by 1-0. That's Stephen Wyrne bundled effort. 2 minutes into the second half, Archie Mayer knocks it high into the London sky. Collins gets his head on it inside the Barnet half. It's a good solid header forward. Richardson is up against Kanu, nicks the ball off the toes of the Sierra Leonean, and now that's knocked high into the sky by Gateshead as well. Louis Story is still changing his shirt on the side of the pitch here. Richardson gets there ahead of Kanu, knocks it long down the right hand side for Lofthouse to chase, puts Coker under a bit of pressure, controls it and nicks the ball off him, but he's not able to keep it in play on that far side, and Barnet have a throw in.
Louis coming back on.
He is, and he's coming back on with number 48 on his back. He had been number 6 earlier on, but he's still getting treatment though.
Yes, his nose is
so
bleeding.
From that perspective, he's not ready to come back on. And Gateshead continue with 10 for the moment. Job slides and miscues it at the back, but Regan Booty is there to knock it back to Archie Mayer to put it long, and Gateshead just want the ball away from their goal while they haven't got Louis Story on the pitch. Barnet are in possession on the halfway line. Regan Booty has dropped back into the back three for the moment, but they've got the ball, Barnet, on the edge of the box. Brunt up against Booty, he does really well to dispossess him, and then there's a foul inside the box, and Gateshead can clear their lines.
The fans are getting a bit frustrated. I can hear them there. You know, the one Barnet to just keep attacking, but they need a goal. They know they're 1-0 down.
Yeah, and that's good reorganisation from Gateshead as well, because Regan Booty dropped back, which meant that they needed Job to move across one, and that was a makeshift back three for a couple of minutes maybe while Louis Story was off the pitch. But he is back on now, and they can rejig that back three again. And there was a free kick given to Gateshead inside their own penalty area, so that is how we will restart.
A few subs warming up for Barnet.
Yeah, I'll run through the two benches in a moment. They made a change at half time, did Barnet, but Gateshead have still got their full complement of 5. Barnet poke it back to their goalkeeper, and Laurie Walker is forced to hook it high in the air. He's done well, but Job wins the header on the left hand side of the pitch. Whelan will chase it down towards the left hand corner flag, but all he can do is make sure that it goes out for a throw in for Barnet, nothing else. Tom Allen, Ed Francis, Marcus Dinanga, Jordan Hunter and Connor Pani are the substitutes. And if Marcus Dinanga is fit, and you assume he is, otherwise he wouldn't be on the bench.
Correct.
Then he has the potential to cause problems in the final 25 minutes, half hour.
He would be a good
game.
asset to bring on, you're dead right, with 20 minutes to go. Plus it'd be Mark Keane as well.
Oh yes. Stephen Wyrne is caught offside. The assistant referee on the far side had to wait until he actually picked the ball up before he was judged to be interfering with play, and then was given as offside.
Gateshead just need to get back on the ball. They need to get their players passing and that. At the minute, Barnet dictating the game.
They are, and it's the home side who have a free kick inside their own half, but the goalkeeper Laurie Walker takes it long up towards Kabamba on the edge of the box, but Story will get his foot to it and does really well to not just thump it clear but to pass it out to Whelan. Chadwick's come deep on this left hand side, gets it to Whelan, lovely flick round the corner as well, but the ball had just gone out of play. Yeah, it was really neat football, but they are not able to keep it in play right in front of the technical areas as Morpeth go 2-0 up on Ilkeston in the NPL Premier Division.
Good stuff.
Short to Gorman. Collins does keep it in play this time, so says the assistant referee, so Barnet still in possession. Right in front of us, but they spread it from right to left. Story gets a barge in the back from Kabamba, but Lofthouse gets to it first and goes right round the outside and is fouled, and it's the kind of foul that from here it feels like it's cynical enough that it should be a yellow card, but the referee showing no inclination to get the cards out of his pocket. Again, the only man therefore to be booked so far is Louis Story, and that was for dissent. It is a Gateshead free kick though, yard in from the touchline away on that far right hand side, but Kenton Richardson will take it. He's looking for options short and he hasn't really got any. So they go long over the top for Billy Chadwick to chase. It was actually a good length of ball, but he just couldn't get there.
They're the type of ball Denanga would like, and he would hold it up, wouldn't he?
It's funny.
I think we'll see him.
That's the kind of thing he can do. He hates doing it. He hates being a striker that has to hold the ball up. He loves to get in behind, but yes, he has very much got the physicality and the attitude to do it. Kabamba is penalised for a foul on Mamadou Diop, who, I know he's not new to football, Diop, he's not new to this level of football, but this is it's been a tough physical introduction to his Gateshead career.
But he's coming through it so far, he is. He's done absolutely nothing wrong, and he's competitive, isn't he?
Yes, which is Paul's way of saying he puts in some very hard challenges. But he is physical in a good way. The ball is long, but Ollie's not going to win that header. Whelan will win the second header, though, and it drops to the feet of Chadwick, who lays it off. Warren back to Chadwick again, centre of the pitch, or centre of the half, because Gateshead have worked it out to Lofthouse. Lovely ball from Ollie out to Lofthouse on that far side, down towards the byline. Tries to get the ball across, he does, it breaks to Ollie, but it's deflected and it's thumped clear, but not very well. Warren, it bounces off his chest on the edge of the penalty area. Barnet clear it, but Bootie's going to get there ahead of Kanu, and now there's space again for Lofthouse to try and get round the outside again, and then along the byline, squares it back. Stephen Warren finds the bottom corner, it's a simple goal, and it's 2-0 to Gateshead.
Absolutely unbelievable. Lofthouse round the outside, pulls it back, and there was Stephen Warren to just tap it in the net. 2-0. Rob Elliott and his guys have just gone absolutely berserk there. Brilliant.
And so they should, because they weathered the storm that Barnet threw at them, and basically have thrown at them since Gateshead took the lead. But a couple of runs, the first one didn't come off from Lofthouse on that far right hand side, but the second one did. He got right round the full-back, Ben Coker, ran along the goal line, but then still had the wherewithal to cut it back. It's a neat finish from Stephen Warren with his right foot. He found the bottom left-hand corner. Gateshead lead by 2-0, and they've had the chances, Barnet, but they haven't taken them, and they find themselves 2 goals down.
Absolutely superb. Brilliant goal. Brilliant finish. Great piece of work by Lofthouse on the right there. Just give him the ball and he'll cause mayhem.
We are almost exactly midway through the second half, and Gateshead have their second goal, but Barnet will not be giving up on this one, but not by a long chalk. Gorman heads it on, but Hannant gets underneath it as he's cleared up towards Chadwick. Hartigan gets in the way of it, but Gorman's under pressure on the halfway line, and Gateshead's tails are up. And the energy levels just increase a little bit again. But Barnet go long towards Kabamba. He's got space to control it on his chest this time. He's given a tug in the back and absolutely should have been given a foul, but he hasn't. And now Ollie spreads it out to Chadwick on this left-hand side. Lots of space, but he's flagged offside. And maybe that makes up for the fact that Barnet should have had a free kick themselves.
Do you know when we talk about, Gateshead have got to defend because Barnet's taking the game to them, and then you just give the ball to Lofthouse, a bit of magic, and then it's 2-0. We've got a mountain to climb now.
Job wins a really good header on the edge of his own penalty area. It's up towards the halfway line, but Danny Collins picks it up again now. Round the outside of Chadwick and inside. And I think Chadwick's energy levels, I know I said the team's energy levels had just gone up a notch, but he might just be starting to run out of puff. Gateshead try to outnumber Barnet, and they do, but there's a tug on the shirt, and Gorman was pulled down, and this time the referee could probably have played advantage, but he's brought it back for a Barnet free kick. That'll be about 32 yards from goal, slightly right of centre. But it's Dale Gorman who's picked it up. Ed Francis is going to come on for Gateshead, and so too is Marcus Denanga, but neither of them will come on before this free kick is taken. He's not got the angle for a shot, but this is going to be a really good position to cross from for Dale Gorman. Yeah, they've left Chadwick up, but literally everybody else is along the 18-yard line. Gorman clips it in behind, Booty gets his head on it, does really well under pressure, but Kanu picks it up, still inside the box, squares it. It's cleared by Hannant out for a throw-in on this near side, and Gateshead actually dealt well with that.
They really did, yes. It was a neat ball in, but they're defending superbly, and when they get the opportunities, apart from the first half when they had 5 chances.
They have not had many chances in the second, and they've scored 2 goals. This is going to be another long throw from Danny Collins from this right-hand side. Towards the near post, Archimere comes and claims it really well and gets a kick in the stomach for his troubles from Kabamba.
Them are dangerous long throws, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
And it was more than anything else the way that Archimere couldn't land the way he wanted to land. That's maybe just winded him slightly, but he's I think he's been given a free kick, actually, on the edge of the 6-yard box. As the Gateshead staff, who had clearly left the tactics board in the dressing room at half-time, as one of their staff members just runs and carries it out right in front of us and back into the dugout. Anyway, Gateshead are going to make those 2 changes that I mentioned. So Marcus Dinanga and Ed Francis are the 2 who are going to come on. Billy Chadwick, unsurprisingly, is the man to come off for Dinanga, at least. And he got 3 goals last weekend. He's not got any today, but he's run himself into the ground. Billy Chadwick.
He's played well. He's been unlucky not to score 2.
And it's a reversal of one of the changes that Gateshead made for this game. So off comes Callum Whelan in the middle of midfield to be replaced by Ed Francis. Blythe have conceded an equaliser at Warrington, so it's Warrington 1, Blythe 1 in the trophy, and a reminder that South Shields are 3-0 down at Southport in the same competition. Barnet are going to make a change as well, so Callum Stead is going to come on, and he will come on as a striker. It's just a case of how attacking they feel they need to go. The answer is very, because it's Ben Coker, the left back, who has come off, and Callum Stead, the striker, who comes on. And they've now gone back to what was their front 3 against Chesterfield, with Kabamba through the middle. Kabamba and Stead through the middle, with Kanu on a wing, but supporting them from whichever wing he happens to pop up on at any given time. Gateshead play it out from their own half. Hannant lays it off to Jobe, who tries to go long in behind for Dinanga, but it's headed clear, and there's a push from Jobe, but he gets away with it, and Ed Francis has his first touch of the afternoon. It's a left-footed clearance down the touchline. Stephen Warren does really well to keep it in play. It bounced off his elbow, but he's got away with it. He's done well. Square to Booty, and now Ollie through the middle as well. Dinanga's in behind if he can get there. He's got inside the box, has a left-footed effort that is fired across goal.
That would have been some start, wouldn't it?
It certainly would.
First touch.
Literally his first touch. He didn't get his angles right, and you know that because it's gone out for a throw-in on the far side.
Great ball by Greg Ollie, wanted to get him in though.
And I'm now trying to work out Barnett's change, just because I can no longer see Idris Kanu.
Right, is he not on?
So we'll work that out in a minute. We'll go by process of elimination. Callum Stead is definitely on because he's just flicked the ball on, but it's gone out for a throw-in on the far side, and Louis Story, now wearing 48, is going to take the throw-in, and he's going to take his time over the throw-in. And Gateshead, who only have, I say only, 17 minutes to see out this game, they lead by 2-0, are going to take their time over everything they possibly can. Warren controls the throw-in on the halfway line. He's having his shirt tugged, but he's also miscontrolled it, and it's gone out for a throw-in on the far side. If you can hear a shout in the background, it's Carl Magney.
He's kicking every ball. He's pointing to everybody, right? And him and Rob, they're just having a drink. Look, as he had sport there.
Yes, other energy drinks are available, by the way. Louis Story has won himself a free kick. He takes it short to Richards and gets it back again. They're pretty much on the edge of their own penalty area, but Gateshead are happy to play it out. Callum Stead closes them down, and it's deflected out for a throw. And if Barnet had managed to keep hold of that interception, then it might have been a different story, but Gateshead with a throw in at right back.
It's gone quiet, hasn't it?
It has, and it was loud around the 10-15 minutes after Gateshead scored their first, and Barnet were really back in the game and had 3 chances from 3 headers in quick succession. Gateshead have quietened them down. You can hear the Gateshead fans away to our right hand side as well. Kabamba wins the header on, trying to find Brunt, but it's thumped clear by Story up towards the halfway line. Booty gets his foot on it as well, but it's out for a throw-in away on that far right hand side. And Barnet in possession, but have to go for it. They don't often lose 2 in a row, Barnet, but they were beaten by the leaders Chesterfield last weekend.
And at the minute,
and they are 2-0 down.
They're 2-0 down, yeah.
Long ball forward, Kabamba tries to get into the penalty box, but he can't. It's well dealt with, and now they will clear it through Regan Booty. He needed to be behind the defender, that ball, and it wasn't, and Collins can intercept it comfortably. And now Barnet with Brunt on this right hand side, right in front of us. Knocks it forward, but Jobe gets his head in the way of it. Francis can't, though. Story controls it accidentally, if you like, on his chest. But Barnet pick it back up again in the middle of the in the middle of the Gateshead half, so it goes out to Canna, who is still on the pitch, on that far side. He's closed down by Lofthouse, so he comes back. to Pritchard, back out to Kanu again, step over, cuts inside on his right foot. He's just given a nudge off the ball, but he doesn't lose it. He does well. He fires a shot away, and it's going to be a corner kick. And
good bit of skill, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is confirmation, if you like, that Idris Kanu is definitely still on the pitch, because he has created something. I just want to say a quick hello to a Gateshead fan who is listening to us from a very long way away. So George Alberts is in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
And thank you very much for listening to us from the other side of the world. I'm not going to work out what time it is in Thailand at the moment, because Gateshead have got a corner to defend. Mayer punches it up in the air. Job heads it clear of the penalty box as well, but only as far as Brunt. Francis gets his head on this one. Gateshead clear it, but need to get a bit further out than this if they can. Story wins another header on the edge of his own penalty area. Booty's looking the wrong way though, and Barnet are back in possession, but Ollie's done well to dispossess them and try and win a foul.
Free kick.
And I'm not sure it was a foul, but he's won the foul. And well done to him, and Gateshead can just relax a little bit.
Then they're in.
Not quite. Laurie Walker comes out to get there ahead of Stephen Warren, who is on a hat-trick, by the way.
We've seen a hat-trick last week from Billy Chadwick. Can we see one this week from Stephen Warren?
It would be a wonderful end to the day if we got that. Luke Hannon controls it inside his own box, knocks it back to Archie Mayer, goes short to Joe, who spins inside the box. Francis lays it off to Booty, up towards Denanga on the halfway line, and forces a throw-in, and that is marvellous football.
It is really good
just
football.
Brilliant football.
Oh, they're going to make another substitution.
Yeah, and Gary Hooper, who we talked about a bit, is going to come on as a substitute, and that is striking extra strike power up front. It's Zach Brunt who has come off, and it is Gary Hooper, the former Premier League, Scottish Premiership striker as well, who has scored twice in substitute appearances already this season. He only joined them about 4 weeks ago, and he has come on to try and get something back for Barnet, but they've only got 13 minutes plus a bit of injury time in which to do it.
You'll have to do well to do it, Noel, against this Gateshead team who are playing superb.
Francis picks it up. There's space for Warren, edge of the box, right hand side. Might fancy having a shot, cuts it back, and he's just overhit it as he tried to find Karen Lofthouse.
He should have shot.
Behind him. He should have had a goal.
Shot.
Yeah, and he sort of fooled everybody, including Lofthouse, when everybody thought he was having a go.
I mean, he's got 2 goals. I mean, he's got a clear shot at goal, making 3,
If anybody's entitled to have a go from that kind of distance,
yes,
he is the man. 13 and a half minutes to go here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Gateshead leading Barnet by 2-0 at the Hive.
And good value for it.
Very much so. Oh, and I'm being told in my ear that it's 11:35 p.m. in Thailand. Somebody's been looking it up on the internet, but thank you. And Barnet back in possession. Gorman on this right-hand side, but his left-footed crosses towards Kabamba. Cleared well. Warren knocks it down. Booty comfortably in now. Gateshead will try and break. Denanga's going to be set free by Ollie, but it's good defending actually from Aluwo to get ahead of him. Denanga's got pace, but in fairness to Aluwo, that's not the first time he's shown he's got pace as well.
Well, a couple of weeks he'll get on the end of that money.
Well, yeah.
He's just come on.
And they are stretching this back line as much as they possibly can. Chesterfield, the leaders, who were 1-0 up on Southend at half-time, are now 2-1 down. And that, if both games, that one and this one, stay like this, it's a proper missed opportunity for Barnet, but that's not what we care about, because it's a brilliant opportunity taken by Gateshead, but they've got 11 and a bit minutes to see through. They're up inside the Barnet penalty area, but they've given it away, and now Kanu picks it up under pressure from both Richardson and Warren has injured himself in making that challenge. So Kanu drives over the halfway line. Warren's managed to pick himself back up again. He's hobbling a bit, but he might be alright. And now they go out to that left-hand side. Barnet back inside the centre circle again, though there needs to be, from their point of view, there needs to be more urgency, but Gateshead have done well to regroup and get everybody behind the ball. They come out to Revan on this right-hand side, but it's
give it away.
Loose inside. Joe picks it up, goes inside to Ed Francis over the halfway line, but Collins intercepts the ball up towards Warren. And now Barnet. And I get the feeling this is going to be a bit breathless in the final 10 minutes. It's a late challenge from Collins.
Well, they need to defend well. They don't need to give Barnet late on any encouragement whatsoever.
Yeah.
They don't.
Stephen Warren is going to come off in just a minute.
Yeah.
Rob Elliott has told him to hobble as far away from the touchline as he possibly. Look at him, that's where he's going.
He wouldn't do that.
Yes, he would, and he is. and he's now going to pretend he didn't realise it was him who was going to be substituted, and off he comes again.
Here he comes. He's coming off. He's coming off.
Tom Allen is the Gateshead substitute, the third Gateshead substitute to come on. Off goes Stephen Warren. He took a little bit of a knock. He's not going to get his hat-trick, but my goodness me, he has contributed.
Oh, he's had a great game. He really has.
On comes Tom Allen, who didn't score last weekend, but came on and
but he looked sharp, didn't he, when he was
around
on?
and looked sharp. And with him and Dinanga up front, which is what the two of them will do, it's a different threat actually for Barnet in the last 10 minutes. This one's long over the top towards Allen, but Collins gets his head on it, and Barnet in possession on the edge of their own penalty area. But yeah, it is just something a little bit different.
Well, and it's good that you've got them on the bench to bring on.
Yes, and
that's strength and depth, isn't it?
Barnet with Hartigan, who's come short for it inside his own half. They're still inside their own half though, because it's good closing down from Allen and Dinanga, and they've got the legs now, Gateshead up front, to do some closing down as well as trying to run in behind. Gorman on this right hand side for Barnet, as Morpeth concede but still lead Ilkeston 2-1 in the Northern Premier League Premier Division. Barnet over with Kanu on that far left hand side. Southend have gone 3-1 up on Chesterfield.
Can't believe that.
3 goals in 3 minutes.
Have Chesterfield lost 3 or 4 players, you think?
We'll find
That's
out
amazing.
afterwards. But Gateshead here lead Barnet, second placed in National League, by 2-0. Gorman, square to Collins in the middle of the Gateshead half. It's a ball towards the back post that Kabamba gets his head on, but there's no danger for Archie Mayer, and Gateshead will take that all day long. 8 minutes to go.
He should have done better than that. There was a really good ball in, and he's just headed it wide past the post. I mean, you know, if I was the manager, the ball in there, you'd be thinking, come on, hit the target for her.
They've got a bit of height up there now. I mean, they've always had Kabamba with height up there. As Archie Mayer goes wide of Kabamba, is fouled by him, gives it away. Referee eventually decides it is a free kick.
Yeah, he was watching it, the ref, and then he thought he was going to get out of it. And then he's given the free kick.
I'm going to say it's just as well, but that's why Gateshead do it. They have the confidence and the physical, the technical ability to play out from inside their own 6-yard box. The long ball is towards Luke Hannant, who was just being out-muscled by Dom Revan, and that will end up trickling all the way out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
Terrific spirit in the Gateshead team today. I mean, you know, Barnet on top early on, and then Gateshead could have had 5 in the first half. You've got to believe us if you're listening. And and then they're getting 2 in the second half, and they're really pulling together, aren't they, as a team?
They are indeed. South Shields are not going to go through to the next round of the FA Trophy. They are now 4-0 down at Southport.
That's amazing. I mean, they won 5-2 at Spennymoor through the week, and they've gone to Southport today, and they're getting beat 4-0.
Yes, having lost to the same team, Southport, last weekend in the league as well.
But we are here at Barnet, and Gateshead's winning 2-0
for the second weekend in a row. Job has the ball. Wasn't involved last weekend. He only signed on loan on Thursday, but he's had a really good game. And Gateshead have forced Barnet all the way back to Walker in their goal. Knocks it long towards Kabamba, who's got time to control it this time. Gets away from Booty, knocks it back to Gorman. They're probably 40 yards from the Gateshead goal. Intercepted by Booty, but it breaks the way of Pritchard for Barnet. Out to Catney on that far left-hand side. Up against Lofthouse, 2 or 3 step-overs. He's got Ollie trying to nick the ball off him as well. He's run all the way across the pitch, finds Collins 25 yards out, thought about a shot, didn't. Went out to this right-hand side instead. Luke Hannant intercepts and puts it out for a throw-in. 6.5 minutes remaining, and Gateshead leading by 2-0.
Got to keep that concentration.
Gorman down this right hand side. Revan, he gave him a 1-2 opportunity, but Revan crosses it himself instead. It's good footwork from Job to get it out of the penalty box, and then there's I thought there was a foul by Collins, but there isn't. They play on, but his ball through is not good enough, and now Barnet through Tom Allen have got the time and the space to clear the ball away.
That's a good ball.
They go long over the top towards Dinanga. Luwo can't get his head on it, so Dinanga, far right hand side of the penalty area, he's on his own, has an effort that forces a good save out of Laurie Walker and wins a corner.
No backlift at all. Left foot, keeper's diving full left to put it round for a corner. I mean, Dinanga, hasn't been on very long, could have had 2 goals.
Indeed. So it's bad news for South Shields, it's good news for Blythe Spartans, who now lead 2-1 at Warrington. Good. So they hopefully will be joining Gateshead in the third round draw for the FA Trophy, which will take place on Monday. Gateshead is a National League side, only entering the competition at the third round stage.
Oh, that's a good score for Blythe if they can hang on to that.
It is, and Greg Ollie is going to take a Gateshead corner, right-footed, out swinger. Allen gets his head on it. It bounces about inside the 6-yard box. They can't clear it properly, Barnet, though. Out to Lofthouse on the edge of the box. Tries a bit of trickery. Doesn't get away with it. There is an offside flag goes up as well before Dinanga takes a tumble inside the penalty box. And Barnet will try and clear it quickly because they've got 5 minutes plus injury time to try and get something out of this. But they're forced to play it about, really, on the edge of their own penalty area under pressure. The ball was long towards Hooper, who I still don't think has actually touched the ball yet, Gary Hooper. And
I don't think he has.
No.
No.
But Barnet spread it from right to left, and there's a chance for Pritchard to find Kanu again, who still appears to be the main source of danger. But inside, Tom Allen's just a little bit over keen and commits a foul just inside the Gateshead half, but they'll take it quickly, and up comes Aluwo from the back with the ball at his feet. Out to Revan, wide on this right-hand side, level with the edge of the box. Back to Hooper again, who has now controlled it, and his second touch is a tackle, and it wasn't a great tackle, and somehow he's got away with it.
He could have been booked for that.
And he's not even had a foul given against him. Magny and Elliott are furious in the ball, in the technical area.
They knew it was a bad tackle.
But the upshot of all of that is a throw-in right in front of us. Revan through the legs of Tom Allen. They try to get it up towards Hooper, but he can't get it. And Tom Allen is given a kick in the back. The referee's going to let this one, a kick in the back of the leg, I should say. He lets this one go, though. He tries to squeeze it through for Dinanga, but couldn't quite. But he'll still try and put that Barnet backline under pressure with 3.5 minutes of the 45 to go. But Francis wins the ball back really well on the halfway line. His pass forward is loose, though. And Magny, Carl Magny, he's not going to have a voice. He's not going to have a voice at the end of this. He has. Revan tries to cut inside from the right wing, but he goes straight into Greg Ollie. He gets past Ollie, in fairness, keeps the ball, and now they go out towards Pritchard on that left-hand side, and back to Kanu again. Tight to the touchline, level with the edge of the box. Left-hand side, Idris Kanu, a couple of step-overs, completely mishits it. He accidentally hit the ball with his standing foot, missed it with his swinging left foot. It's out for a goal kick, and the Gateshead fans enjoyed that.
It was right in front of the Gateshead fans, and they're killing themselves laughing there.
Yeah, I mean, and look, from we're not neutral, but from a neutral point of view, you can't have a go at Idris Kanu because he's looked really dangerous every other time he's had the ball. Yeah. But the Gateshead fans fully entitled to enjoy that one. Archie Mayer goes short to Mamadou Job on the left-hand side of the back three. Up towards Allen, lays it off. It was a bit short with the layoff, actually, but Francis won the challenge, and Gorman is late on Mamadou Job. And that will be a free kick that Gateshead will merrily take their time over.
He's had a good game, Job. Yeah. He has. Really good. When we spoke nearly 2 hours ago about, Grayson being injured, and this lad, he's only 20 years of age, on loan from Cambridge. He's had a really mature performance this afternoon.
Yeah. The Gateshead are going to take their time. I'm already anticipating the Barnet fans getting a bit annoyed around us, but maybe they know the game's gone. 2 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. There are a decent number of Barnet fans leaving away on the far side as well. Archie Mayer is going to get a yellow card for taking too long, and that's just a little bit silly. It's his third yellow card of the season, actually, Archie Mayer. And we've only had 2 yellow cards in the game.
And he's got one of them.
Louis Story for dissent and Archie Mayer for time wasting.
Yeah. He's probably telling the ref he's going as fast as he can.
Yes. He's made 2 or 3 really good saves, Archie Mayer.
The second half he did.
All in the space of about 7 or 8 minutes, actually, Archie Mayer, but he did make some good saves.
Yeah.
Both goalkeepers, in fairness. Laurie Walker made a few in the first half as well for Barnet to, at that stage, keep them in the game.
I think the Barnet fans that are going home will be talking in the car and on the buses and on the tube and on the trains. What a good team Gateshead are.
Yeah, both. I mean, Barnet haven't really imposed themselves on the game. We look at it, as we always say, we look at it through Gateshead eyes, and Gateshead, you're right, have performed really well, and they've added a bit of steel to the and if they're not careful, Kenton Richards is going to get a yellow card as well. He takes the throw in very quickly. There's a tug on the back of Marcus Dinanga. Now this surely is the first yellow card for a foul.
No, he's not giving it.
And the referee's not giving this one.
No.
Anyway, Gateshead are not going to be complaining about very much, because into the final 60 seconds of the 90 minutes, and they lead Barnet by 2-0 at the Hive.
That's just the wind starting to get up as well, Colin.
It is. It is. We're here until 6 o'clock.
Yes, we are.
They take the free kick short, Gateshead, inside the Barnet half. They try and hook it over the top, does Greg Ollie, but he can't. So Barnet clear it down the left. A lovely stretched interception from Louis Story.
Louis loved it this afternoon, hasn't
he?
He has. He's absolutely loved it.
Barnet have got possession inside their own half. The fourth official's got the board in his hands. We're going to find out how many minutes there will be. I don't think we've had, apart from Louis Story getting a bit of attention to his nose.
Yeah, he did.
We've not really had an injury stoppage, but we've had a few substitutions. I'm going to guess at 4, and we'll find out what we get in a minute.
6.
Just kind of 6 minutes.
6 minutes. We've had all the subs on, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced we've had 6 minutes worth, but there we go. 6 minutes remaining in this game. Barnet get it in towards the box. Archie Mayer is very clearly fouled by Gary Hooper, who has not really made a positive contribution since he came on.
Gary's cleaned somebody out just outside the box, and he's just cleaned the keeper out, and I'm just wondering if that's what they've signed him for.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has scored twice since he signed, but Archie Mayer, who was fouled, and it is a free kick, is not going to take as long over this one as he might have wished to, because he is already on a yellow card. And he's not going to test the referee's patience this time. He goes short to Job, though. Closed down by Gorman, who... Job slips, so we play on. Barnet inside the Gateshead box, but can't get their foot on the ball properly, and that clearance from Hannon comes off Nicky Kabamba, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah,
and we will start the whole process over again. He goes over to the other side of his 6-yard box this time to take this goal kick, but Louis got Louis Story for company.
What was it, 6 minutes, Colin?
It was 6 minutes, and we've played 1 1/4 of those 6. That was just a little bit too brave from Archie Mayer trying to find Ed Francis, and Barnet intercepted it. It's gone out for a throw-in on this near side that Hartigan takes to Gorman, gets it back again. The cross from Hartigan hits the back of Luke Hannant, bounces out for a throw-in, and again it just eats away a few seconds for Barnet, for Gateshead.
This is a long throw, lad. This
is Danny Collins.
Yeah.
Who dries the ball with his shirt. They've thrown almost everybody up. That is, by the way, Carl Magny's voice. You can hear behind us again.
Absolutely screaming at the defenders.
Collins with this long throw-in eventually. Towards the near post. It's over the head of Hannant. It's bouncing around. Gateshead clear it only as far as Hartigan on the edge of the box. But it's over the
good effort.
Corner of post and crossbar by maybe a yard, and that is probably that for Barnet. It's not that for the game. We've still probably got, we've played 2 of the 6 minutes, but that in terms of Barnet getting back into it,
it was a good shot, but it was just probably 2 or 3 foot over the bar, you know.
Yeah, I just want to correct one of the other scores that we gave you. Chesterfield are losing. I said 3-1, it's only 2-1.
All right.
But given that they were 1-0 up on Southend at half-time, that is still a surprise.
Well, very much
so. The top 2 who we talked about in the build-up as the top 2 in this division, maybe running away with it, both looking like they're going to fall to defeats.
They're running back now. Yes. They're running back.
Everyone's catching them. Yeah. They've gone long towards Kabamba. Job sort of wins the header enough to take the momentum out of it, but it's loose from Gateshead, so Gorman picks it up the edge of the box, backed out towards Callum Stead, who hasn't had a huge amount of involvement since he came on. Finds Kanu wide on that left-hand side again. Level with the edge of the box. Cuts back on his right foot. He's under pressure, but gets the cross in. Hooper controls it. Edge of the 6-yard box. Lays it off, though, but it's bouncing out towards Hartigan. Collins, 25 yards out. Clipped towards the back post. It's bouncing around inside the 6-yard box. It's cleared off the line.
Off the line.
By Job, and the shot comes in, and it's over the crossbar, and Gateshead survive.
Yeah, they didn't want that going in. Last 2 or 3 minutes. No. The keeper's flat out. Is he? Yeah, he's okay.
No, he's fine. He's just tested.
But it was kicked off the line. It was kicked off the line there.
And we praise Lofthouse, Karen Lofthouse, quite rightly, because he's had a terrific game going forwards. Really good positioning on the goal line behind his goalkeeper for that clearance as well.
Yeah.
3.5 of the 6 minutes played.
Still 2-0.
Blythe a 3-1 up at Warrington, which should now be enough to see them through. Well, the referee has lost his patience, finally, with a Barnet player. And it's going to be a yellow card for Idris Kanu, who I'm not convinced has been one of the serial offenders, but there we go. Idris Kanu gets a yellow card, and it's his 6th yellow card of the season. And it's another opportunity for Gateshead to waste 30 seconds or so. We're into the 5th of the 6 minutes. As Rob Elliott discards the water bottle inside the technical area. He's had his hands in his pockets pretty much the whole game, but he's
had a good afternoon.
It's been a very good afternoon.
Him and Carl Magny have worked really hard on the line here.
Yeah. Dinanga battling away down by the right-hand corner flag, but does well to try and spin inside and get between two defenders as well. He was hoping for a corner. He's not going to get it.
Kick.
It's just a goal kick. But once again, Gateshead have worked their way deeper into injury time. We've now played almost 5 of the allotted minimum 6 minutes, but nothing's really happened in the 6 minutes to suggest that this game will go on for too much longer. It's a good header from Booty alongside Kabamba, and Dinanga, if he's kept himself onside, is in behind, but nobody really thought he'd kept himself onside, and it's a free kick.
As last week when they won 6-0 against Dorking, it would send a little wave round the National League. I think this will send a bit of a tidal wave.
Yes.
2-0 at Barnet. You know, there's not many people come down here and win 2-0, I tell you.
And we'll look at what it does to the table later on. Reminder, we're on until 6 o'clock, so we'll do our non-league roundup, our local football roundup at about 5:40 today as well, by which time I will hopefully have had a chat with Rob Elliott, and he'll be a happy man, because we're into the final 60 seconds. Barnet are still in possession, about 30 yards from Gateshead's goal. They go square to Collins, but he's under pressure from a combination of Booty and Tom Allen. They keep the ball out to Kanu again on that left wing. He's hugged that touchline in the second half. Lofts it across. Collins' first time pass forward was very ambitious. Tom Allen gets there ahead of Hartigan. He's put it out for a throw-in, but we're into the final seconds, quite literally. We've played the 6 minutes now, and the referee, with a whistle in his mouth, will probably just see where this move goes. Hooper's got it. You can hear the whistles from the Gateshead fans. They want the game to end. Idris Kanu tries the nutmeg on Lofthouse that doesn't come off. Gateshead clear it up towards the halfway line. I feel like that should be that, but the referee's still letting Barnet play on for the moment. Square to College. I have no idea why we're still playing on. But out on this right-hand side, they find Dom Revan again for Barnet inside towards the edge of the box. Back to College, back out to Gorman on this right-hand side again. There's probably one move left in this game.
That's it.
That is it. No idea what the referee was waiting for, but we have got a full-time whistle, and we've got a second consecutive Gateshead win. Again, they've not conceded. Again, they've scored more than one, but this time they have come to Barnet and won by 2-0. Stephen Wern scored them both, one in the second minute of the second half and then one right in the middle of the second period. They had to weather a real Barnet storm before they went 2-0 up. But they thoroughly deserve all 3 points. There are handshakes and hugs all round because, Paul Dixon, that is a terrific afternoon's work.
Absolutely unbelievable. And I'm delighted I was here with you, Colin, to witness this performance by Gateshead. Seeing them win last week 6-0, different type of game, right? Took all their chances, right? If we go back to the first half, we are talking nils each half time. 5 glorious chances for Gateshead. Didn't take any of them. Trying to score, but the post and goalkeeper, that prevailed from the ball going in the net. Second half, they come out, and just as we thought Barnet were going to come out and take the game to Gateshead, it was Gateshead who took the game to them. And Stephen Warren, terrific goal scorer, 2 wonderful goals this afternoon, and it's just a terrific performance down here in London, and getting 3 precious points for Gateshead will push them further up the league.
It will indeed. I was hoping that you would talk for long enough, Paul, that I could work out exactly where it has put them in the league, but we'll worry about that in just a minute, because Stephen Wern's 2 goals in the second half. The first one that came from the Regan Booty cross from a free kick. Mamadou Job on his debut, and we'll come back to him in a second as well, won the header at the back post, and then it was bundled in by Stephen Wern at the right hand post.
It doesn't matter how they go in, does it?
It doesn't. And
No.
And the second one was a nicer goal, if you like, in that Kyron Lofthouse, who had a terrific game as well as a right wing back, again got round the back of his defender, ran along the byline, cut it back. Stephen Wern's right-footed finish was beyond the outstretched arm of Laurie Walker. That made it 2-0. Gateshead held on, and they weren't holding on desperately by any stretch towards the end of this game. Gateshead move on to 32 points and move up to 5th in the National League table.
Well, that's playoff position. But I mean, the 2 victories that Rob Elliott have had in 2 weeks is absolutely sensational. One a 6-0, then you've come down to London to play Barnet away from home, and it's a very, very positive 2-0 victory that they've done.
I want to pick out a couple of individuals as well, and we'll start with the debutant, because Mamadou Job, we wondered, not that we doubted him because we'd never seen him play, but we wondered how easily he would fit into this Gateshead system. The answer is very.
Well, he was just class. I mean, when he needed to be tough, he was tough. When he needed to win the headers, he won them. And when he needed to pass the ball and defend, he done all that. You couldn't fault him, Colin. I mean, he played exceptionally well, but he's just one of many, many players, isn't he?
Yeah, because Kyron Lofthouse nearly scored the goal of the season, never mind the goal of the game, in the first half with a brilliant run from right wing back started inside his own half, and he made it all the way. I say made it through several defenders, round several defenders, up to the edge of the penalty area, got inside the box, and his left-footed shot came crashing off the crossbar. Gateshead also hit the post and had some other really good chances in the first half as well. They showed a bit of everything.
Correct. That's a good line. The goalkeeper had absolutely nothing to do in the first half. When he needed to make the saves, he made them. The back lads defended. The midfield lads worked exceptionally hard. And when the chances come up front, Stephen Warren took it. Last week it was Billy Charrett. Today it's Stephen Warren. Yeah. They've got versatility who can get the goals, and you need goal scorers in your team, and Gateshead have got them. And they do, and again, they've got through a game without Marcus Denanga scoring, and now, given that he's a top finisher.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He did come on as a substitute and looked sharp. He missed out last weekend through injury, but it's
a squad, isn't it?
It is a squad.
It's a squad. It's a long season, and Rob's come in. This is his fourth game, and disappointing in the first two. But I'm really looking forward to your interview with Rob to see see how he does it. Yes.
One more, because you've kind of touched on him. Archie Mayer didn't have a huge amount to do last Saturday when we saw him play Dorking. I'm not sure he made a save in the whole game. He made plenty. He claimed some crosses quite well.
In a
short period of time, he probably made 3 really good saves in about 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But when you haven't really been called on for almost an hour, that's the mark of a sharp goalkeeper.
Well, I think he's a real good shot stopper. He is, and the things you have to do in being a goalkeeper now, he does all right with.
Indeed. Paul Dixon, thank you very much indeed. You will be back, I will be back for the local football roundup at 5:40, but it has been a very successful afternoon as the final Gateshead fans trickle away, and as I can see them taking some of their flags down as well away. It will be a happy journey home for them later on, because here down at the Hive this afternoon in the National League, it finished with 2 Stephen Warren goals. Barnet 0, Gateshead 2.
BBC Radio Newcastle at breakfast.
Hi, it's Matt here. Well, what a week it's been for BBC Children in Need. Let's do this!
3, 2, 1...
We're off!
Hi Matt, this is Sting, wishing you a good pedalo.
If I had your powerful thighs, Julio, then probably done in about half an hour. I am achy, I am tired, and if I never see that pedalo ever again, it'll be too soon. Thank you so much for all your support this week. You can donate still at bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
Breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. BBC Radio Newcastle.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Dominic James back in the BBC Radio Newcastle studio, full time then at the Hive. Barnet 0, Gateshead 2. Stephen Wern with both of the goals for Gateshead. Gateshead moving up to 5th in the National League. Thank you very much to Colin White and to Paul Dixon. Both will be back for our local football roundup in around 40 minutes. Time. There's not much other domestic action happening this weekend with the international break. There was 2 games in League One this afternoon. It's still playing between Blackpool and Shrewsbury, but Blackpool winning 4-0 there, and it's full time between Stevenage and Lincoln. Stevenage winning 1-0 in that one. Into League 2 then, Notts County beat Bradford City 4-2 this afternoon in the early kick-off. Macaulay Longstaff scoring 2 for Notts County there. It's finished Accrington Stanley 2, Wrexham 0, Barrow 1, Crawley Town 0. Forest Green Rovers 2, Grimsby Town 2, Gillingham 3, Salford City 1, Harrogate 1, Swindon Town 1. Mansfield have beaten Newport County 2-0. Stockport County have beaten Colchester 2-0. And the only other game in League 2 this afternoon was Sutton versus Tranmere, and that finished 1-1.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Down into the National League then, in the other games, obviously Gateshead beat Barnet 2-0. Bromley and AFC Fylde is still playing. Bromley winning 1-0 there, though. Dorking Wanderers have beaten Boreham Wood 2-1. Dorking, of course, lost 6-0 to Gateshead last weekend. Eastleigh have beaten Altrincham 2-1. Oxford City winning 4-0 away from home at Ebbsfleet. Halifax have beaten Wealdstone 1-0. Dagenham and Redbridge have gone away to Kidderminster Harriers, winning 1-0 there. Rochdale 2, Aldershot 1. Solihull Moors have lost at home. Maidenhead United winning 2-1 there. Southend have beaten Chesterfield 2-1 in that game. Lots of drama in that game there. Thought it was 3-1, but no, it's definitely 2. Definitely 2-1 to it finished there. And the two other games, Oldham have got away to Woking, winning 1-0, and Hartlepool also away this afternoon. They've gone away to York, winning 3-1. In the FA Trophy, though, this afternoon, some mixed fortunes for our sides. Blythe Spartans are through to the next round. They have beaten Warrington 3-1. Not so good though for South Shields. They lost 4-0 away to Southport. In the Northern Premier League today, Morpeth have beaten Ilkeston 2-1 at Craig Park. We're still playing between Consett and Bridlington in the East Division. Consett, they're losing 3-0 there. And Ashington have gone away to North Ferriby, winning 5-0 there. We'll round up all of this afternoon's non-league action in our local football roundup in about half an hour.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
That to come on BBC Radio Newcastle. Lots to get through before then. I'm going to stick with football because, of course, England beat Malta 2-0 at Wembley in the Euro 2024 qualifier last night.